Week 7 wraps up in the nation's capital, where the REDBLACKS hope to get their first win of the season, but it won't be easy as Drew Brown is back in town, looking for his second straight win as the Bombers' starting quarterback. It is Ottawa and Winnipeg coming up on the CFL on TSN. Hello, Canada, and welcome to Sunday Night Football on TSN. Kate Burness alongside Davis Sanchez and Paul LaPolice. And as we know on this panel, there are some things in life that are so much bigger than football, and that is certainly the case today. The Saskatchewan Roughriders passing along heartbreaking information this afternoon that linebacker Jayden Dalkey has passed away at the age of just 30 years old. The club releasing this statement this afternoon as well. It is with profound sadness that the Saskatchewan Roughriders mourn the loss of linebacker and team captain Jayden Dalkey, who passed away in a car accident yesterday evening. A relentless warrior on the field, Jayden's determination, toughness, and work ethic inspired his teammates who cared deeply for him and are heartbroken by his passing. Jayden had a unique gift of making the people around him feel special and valued. No one ever left a conversation with him without a smile. On and off the field, he was the true definition of what it means to be a Saskatchewan Roughrider. Our hearts go out to the entire Dalkey family who traveled the country to watch Jayden live his dream. We will miss him terribly, and we'll never forget the impact he had on our lives and on our team. Let's get you back to Ottawa now for a moment of silence for Jayden Dalkey.
Earlier today, the CFL lost a teammate, a Canadian brother, and a friend. Jayden Dalkey, linebacker and team captain of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, tragically passed away in a car accident yesterday evening. Nous offrons nos condoléances à ses amis, membres de sa famille, et à l'organisation entière des Roughriders. We extend our condolences to Jayden's family, friends, and the entire Roughriders organization. Prière d'observer maintenant un moment de silence. We ask you to please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Merci.
Well, after he was named the backup in Ottawa, Drew Brown was traded to Winnipeg back on June the 23rd. Ryan Dinwiddie saying this week he suspects that Drew may have an axe to grind today. Now, Jake Maier, meanwhile, choosing over Drew Brown, only 1-7 in his career against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But my goodness, do these Ottawa REDBLACKS need a win today? And you know what, Lapo, when we saw Drew Brown play last week, we thought if there's a chance that he's going to be the starter in this game, it's pretty much a story that writes itself.
Yeah, and he did some really good things last week when you watched the tape. His ability pre-snap to see where the open players were in the coverage. You got the ball out of his hand quickly. That's going to help your offensive line. And the second thing he did is he used his legs to escape a couple of times the pass rush of the Argos, and that led to 2 explosive pass plays. And the Bombers are a team that hasn't had a lot of explosive pass plays all season. They only have 4 all season. He got 2 just last week. So I really like what he did last week, and I'm sure he's going to be fired up to play his old team.
Yeah, I mean, this game is obviously huge for Ottawa. We're looking at, if they don't win this game, they're going into a bye week, and then they have Montreal and Sask. So obviously, a big spot for this team. And if you listen to these guys right now, they've had a great week of practice. You know who they're sick of hearing about? It's Drew Brown. Right. They're sick of hearing about it. Their quarterback is Jake Maier right now. And that's what they're going to believe in, and that's what they need to find a way to get a win for them. Like we said, going into bye week, without a win, that's a tough place to be.
They're saying all the right things, too. I heard Ryan Dinwiddie saying that was the best practice they've had all season long. Let's see if they can get it done in the nation's capital today. Michael Bishkoff, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save On Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. If a kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you can win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Michael. Let's get you to Ottawa. It's Rod Smith and Glenn Suter.
Thank you, Kate. We welcome you to the nation's capital in a story that just won't go away. The way it's set up with the Bombers and the REDBLACKS. A situation that was hard to imagine a month ago when Drew Brown was still a quarterback here in Ottawa. But he had been benched for Jake Maier suits, and he wanted out. He got out to Winnipeg, and he becomes the starting quarterback with the injury to Zach Collaros, just trying to stick it to his whole team tonight.
Well, one quarterback that's trying to prove his coach wrong, and one quarterback trying to prove he made the right decision. That's what we have tonight for Drew Brown. He was told he didn't fit in the system as well as Jake Maier here in Ottawa. He wants to prove Ryan Dinwiddie wrong. Jake Maier just wants to concentrate on getting that first win. Davis Sanchez just said it. They have to win this game tonight. 0-6 just looks bad.
Ryan Dinwiddie hasn't been through anything like this as a coach. And it's Winnipeg that won the toss, and they will take the football. And Trey Babel at a big return for a touchdown last week, and is hit very hard. Aiden John, one of them, coming in on special teams. And also KJ Cloyd is one that knocked him down. So Winnipeg football, and we will see Drew Brown coming on right away against the team he started for 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's the way he would want to script it, too. The Bombers won the toss, so they get the ball first, and Drew Brown is going to have to try and fight those emotions a little bit. Stay calm, run the offense. You can only get revenge one play at a time.
Yeah, and credit to him. He didn't try to dodge it and say this is just another game. He knows it's not. He was hurt when he lost his starting job. 4-man rush, throwing right away over the middle, complete. Brady Oliveira has it at just near the 40. And let's take a closer look at that starting offense for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah, 2 real good offseason acquisitions in free agency with Darrell Broxton at right tackle, and then in the receiving corps, Tim White, who scored a touchdown in their win against Toronto. 2 big pickups in the offseason for this team. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they've been starting to contribute more and more every game.
4-yard pickup on the pass to Oliveira. So 2nd and 6 at the Winnipeg 40. The Bombers come in at 3-2. The Red Blacks at 0-5. And Brown being chased and still rolling out, and tries to take off to see if he can get that yardage. You get close to the 45, and still not enough for a first down. He'll be at least a yard shy.
Yeah, it's a long yard, too. So it'll be a decision for Mike O'Shea. He's going to get pressure off the edge. And, you know, this Ottawa team, starting on their defense, has got to play this game like it's at a playoff tempo. I mean, you cannot slip to 0-6 and expect to fight your way out of that.
So Bryce Perkins comes in. This is the 200th game as head coach of the Bombers for Mike O'Shea, starting in 2014. Longest active tenure for a head coach. And looking for a first down here with Perkins. And initially he is it. He tries to lunge across. C.J. Rivas coming in. Red Blacks fired up and sensing they have a turnover on downs. We'll see where they spot this football.
That's the intensity I'm talking about. Just that little extra jump. It's hard to explain when you get to the playoffs how the speed of the game increases, the tempo and the intensity. And we could see that from Ottawa in this first series.
And it was a turnover on downs, as Perkins did not make it. As you said, he needed a very long yard on that one. So this is what the Red Blacks need. Rivas, former Saskatchewan Rough Rider, his first year in Ottawa, as they will go to work just inside the Winnipeg 41 now, and the first possession for Jake Maier. At the 46, excuse me, for Ottawa, their opening possession. And Maier swinging it out to the left. He's got Greg Bell, and a good tackle there inside the 45 by the weak side linebacker Tony Jones.
And take a look at right tackle Zach Pelias, who's playing in his 4th start for Martez Ivey out there at right tackle. Take a look at that offensive line protecting for Jake Maier, and they get Keelan White back in the receiving corps. He had missed a couple of games due to injury.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Maier threw for 293 last week, 1 touchdown, but was picked off 4 times in Edmonton in that loss. Standing to throw, and he connects 2, and that's down around the 36. Michael Griffin on the tackle of that target. That is Keelan White.
Talked to Mike O'Shea about Willie Jefferson this week, and he said whether he gets sacks or not, he is making a difference every play on defense and helping a young David Reese on the opposite side, so contributing in a big way. Kyrie Wilson is the leader in that linebacking core in front 7, and the guy that has the only interception for the Bombers is the youngest with regards to experience, the rookie Major Williams on the corner.
So Bryson Barnes in at short yardage on third down, lunges across, and unlike the Bombers in their try, Barnes is able to pick up the first down as this drive continues right around the 35 of Winnipeg.
Yeah, this is a game for Jake Maier that can be career defining one way or another. We've seen some good flashes from Jake Maier. His time in Saskatchewan, his time in Calgary. He wins this one. His coach will be
with cartwheels based on what they've been dealing with so far.
Absolutely.
Handing off Greg Bell. Tries to turn it up, and a good tackle by Jones again, making his presence felt. And that's another thing that Ottawa wants to get doing, get that running game going more with this free agent acquisition from Hamilton.
Well, Ottawa has not all season long had a 100-yard running game as a team, let alone Greg Bell having 100 yards. And a lot of that is just a lack of touches. Now, they have been most of the time chasing the scoreboard. When you get in that chase of the scoreboard, oftentimes coaches will forget about the run a little bit.
He's been averaging about 3 yards a carry. Gets 3 there. So a 2nd and 7 again for Ottawa. In scoring position in the Winnipeg zone, but looking for a first down. Maier under pressure. Michael Fletcher swamps him, sacks him, and that's back at the 41. Big loss for Ottawa, and a third down coming up as well. 8-yard loss in their field goal range.
In that Sprinters 4-point stance, Michael Fletcher in the lineup tonight for Cam Lawson, his first start of the 26 campaign, and he gets home and on the stat sheet early in this one.
Brett Lother on. He's 14 of 14, the longest of 51. This one right in the middle of the field from 47 yards. Put down, and the kick from Lother is perfect. Splits the uprights, and so on the turnover on downs, the Red Blacks do cash in with some points, picking up the field goal for Lother. Ottawa looking to finally get that first win of the season. 3-0 lead. Back in Ottawa, we've seen Drew Brown in this game, one possession, and this is a look back to what he did last week in his first start back for Winnipeg against the Argos.
What was remarkable about this game is he threw for 339, a touchdown and 1 interception, but he had just 1 week of practice. Now he understands the system. He's worked with Tommy Condell before. He has the help of Zach Collaros there, who's on the 6-game injured list now. So there was a lot of those factors helping with regards to getting him ready for that game. But 1 practice and 339 in the win.
Drew Brown got a start, his first start in BC with the Bombers in 2022. Lost that one, but then he won his 2 starts in 2023, his last year in his first go-around with Winnipeg. Now back in blue and gold. Second possession Winnipeg from their 40. And quickly off to Tim White, who had his touchdown pass last week against the Argos, taken down by Amari Henderson, and it's a first down for Winnipeg.
Luigi Villan is starting at defensive end, a guy who grew up in the Ottawa area, was drafted by the Argos, but said to the Argos, you know what, I'd rather play at home. I'd rather go home to play, and he gets a start. Aaron Casey in for Niles Morgan, and in the back end, Alonzo Adai. He's got 1 interception and 15 tackles on the season. He's got to keep those guys together in the back end.
That completion to Tim White, just enough for a first down, just across their 50 now. Faking the handoff, throwing again over the middle, and no, looking for Pokey Wilson. Ontario Wilson inside the Red Blacks 40, but it falls incomplete.
Yeah, I think Drew Brown was trying to throw him open here. Wilson is going to end up right over the middle, and he's trying to throw him away from that coverage.
Leading the way among Bomber receivers is Wilson. Last week he had 10 catches for 133 yards. He wasn't around in Winnipeg when Brown was last year, so they're just getting used to each other now. 2nd and 10 from the 50. With time off to the left, and looking for Wilson there with Henderson chasing him down. You see Zach Collaros pointing to, yeah, he kept a foot in bounds as he was crashing there off on the side to gain a 17 yards.
Long out route here to get this throw completed from Drew Brown. He's on the opposite hash. He's got that deep out, has to be on time or it's going the other way from Amari Henderson. Right out there on the sideline by nice catch for Bookie Wilson, and he's okay after running into something back there.
That's all the way down to the 43 of Ottawa. Winnipeg on the move for that big completion, and on the ground now for Oliveira, who keeps those legs pumping as he works his way down inside the Ottawa 35 and an 8-yard gain, and a flag coming out late after the play.
Yeah, it was well after Oliveira went down. You know, whatever the message is, whatever the way that they tell you as a player that, you know, they're going in another direction. You've heard that many times. Or Jake Maier fits this system a little better than you fit this.
We have a misconduct foul against Ottawa, number 9. It's a 15-yard penalty to be added from the end of the play. And first down for Winnipeg.
Must be something he said, Shakur Brown. But, you know, no matter how they say it, at the end of the day, they thought the other player was better. They didn't think you were good enough to play on their football team.
The bottom line, you could tell that's how Drew Brown saw it. That wasn't just a system thing. That Ryan Dinwiddie, obviously, right from the outset training camp, felt more comfortable with Jake Maier and made that decision during the preseason. So with the penalty, they scrimmage from the 20. That's caught by White, who's tied up after only about a yard. DeMario Houston, the ex-Blue Bomber, who had come back to Winnipeg last year for a short time, played in 5 games before signing on with Ottawa.
And I'm glad you mentioned it right off the top, that Drew Brown could have said when we talked to him this week, he could have said, yeah, it's just another game, guys. We want to try and get a win. Jake Maier, same thing. They could have said, you know, but they know.
Yeah.
They know the storyline is huge. They know Ryan Dinwiddie is the guy that is the focal point of this. And they want to get that win. It'll be that much more special for them.
Well, we could sense that from Brown in talking to him, what it would mean. Throwing here, the arm got hit. Either that or got deflected at the line, and it wobbles down incomplete. And suddenly we're in a field goal situation here for Winnipeg.
Now, they also said, both of them, they also said there's great mutual respect between the two.
Right.
And that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, they were in the same quarterback room through all of training camp and came out of the preseason. Drew Brown did get some reps in the preseason in that second game here in Ottawa, but did not get them during the regular season as they dropped to 0-3 at the time.
26-yard attempt for Sergio Castillo, tucks it in inside that right upright. He was 5 for 6 with a 56-yarder last week in Winnipeg, and he's 1 for 1 on the night to get the Bombers on the board after they moved down nicely for Drew Brown. They get the points to tie the score on a Sunday night in the nation's capital. Winnipeg 3, Ottawa 3, first quarter. Drew Brown was the starter in Ottawa last year. Jake Maier was a backup in Saskatchewan, but he came in and he won the job. But just a look at the comparison of these two men.
Well, completion percentage and passing yards per start, pretty close. I mean, you look at the win-loss record, and as you mentioned off the top, Drew Brown had some success here. Not necessarily last year when he went through some injuries.
Went to the playoffs in 2024 in his first year, back to Greg Bell. Still trying to grind through those yardage. It's tough sledding in the inside against this Bomber D.
Ryan Dinwiddie didn't try to change the subject either when we talked to him about, yeah, he understands what the two quarterbacks are thinking and what he's focused on, what he hopes Jake Maier is focused on, which I'm sure he is just trying to find a way to have at least one more point than the Bombers at the end of this game. So important with the way they started.
They said when we talked to him, said as a coach, he never threw anything like this. Just can't find the wins. Well, finds Khalil Pimpleton, gets up to midfield, first down and more. Jonathan Moxey trying to wrestle him down and finally gets a bit of help there along the way. But a 15-yard pickup for Khalil Pimpleton.
A couple of things that Coach Dinwiddie did say to us as we were talking to him this week in our production meeting was that he wants to get the ball to Pimpleton more. and get him in space, some bubble screens, some screens to the outside, plays like that where he catches it about 4 or 5 yards from the line of scrimmage and then can make things happen after he catches it.
And he is the leader in combined yardage in the Canadian Football League with all the returns he does as well. For the handoff, Bell stop, turns around, goes down, and loses yardage. Tony Jones coming in again, and Reda Kramdi, the safety, as well.
Tony Jones goes down to the line of scrimmage, and he's going to flash like he's in the pass rush at the D line. He's got contained. He steps up and makes sure that Greg Bell can't get outside of him. Shedding the block and his safety from behind him. Kramdi comes up and makes a tackle.
And a loss of 3 yards right back to midfield for Ottawa in this 3-3 tie. Under 4 minutes to go until quarter time. On the 2nd and 13, Mayer sets up, looks left. It is caught. But it is not near first down. In fact, it's just barely back to the original line of scrimmage.
Pass rush getting a little bit to Jake Mayer early in this one. Had to get the ball out of his hands here or take a sack. You see Reese coming up the field, getting those arms up. Not a bad idea, though, to get Keelan White involved early. That could pay off later in the game.
So the first punt of the evening for Noah Getman. His first year with the Red Blacks. Pressure coming, just got it away.
That's a penalty.
And a flag comes out for the contact, roughing the kicker. It rolls into the end zone, too, where Trey Bavel will just have to take a knee and would be giving up a point. But, of course, we do have this penalty coming up here after the 68-yard punt. And Getman is limping off the field.
Well, it looked like to me contact on the plant leg. See if the replay center is actually just reviewing it before the official announcement. Make sure that what they saw on the field jives with the replay.
We have roughing the kicker.
Yeah.
Winnipeg, number 54. It's a 15-yard penalty. Makes it an automatic first down for Winnipeg.
Contacting the kicker, roughing the kicker, slightly different. This is roughing the kicker when it's on the plant leg. You see that bottom leg. Unintentional, of course.
The referee, Ben Major, said 54, actually 52, Charles-Éliott Boulian. The rookie with the Blue Bombers gets flagged for that. Bottom line, 15 yards up. Ottawa drive continues with the penalty to the Winnipeg 36.
Automatic first down on that penalty, yeah. Because they had lost yards on first down, put them in second and plus 10. But even if the penalty yardage didn't get him there, the automatic first down in this call will.
You saw Noah Getman there and walking off rather gingerly as he tries to loosen up on the sideline. Jake Mayer back on with the Ottawa offense now.
Quick peek of the personnel that Winnipeg defense has on the field as he walked out of the huddle there. Took a quick peek, got back in the huddle. Okay, yeah, this play should be nice. Let's see.
Eberhardt and Hardy and Pimpleton off to the right. Bell in the backfield, faking to him and rolling right. There with time, and no, looking for Eugene Lewis with Major Williams right there to break up that play in a second down.
Well, he got the block he needed to get him outside of the pocket. That was a bit of a bootleg action to get Jake Mayer outside. Now what it does, it helps the quarterback by moving his launch point outside the pocket so the rush can't go at him, you know, in that consistent spot in the pocket every single down. The downside of rolling like that is that it cuts the field in half.
And looking for Lewis there, who had just one catch last week in Edmonton for 14 yards. Here we go in a 2nd and 10. And he finds his target there. That is Geno Lewis. And inside the 30 and very close to a first down for the Red Blacks.
Yeah, there's no question here. And, you know, if coaches and offensive players and offensive minds keep telling me that, you know, you got to read, you got to go through your progressions, I hope coaches listening, I'm just filing all of that. Get the ball to Geno Lewis. However you have to do that. Get it to him.
Well, already with a couple of targets and a catch, it gets him close enough for Bryson Barnes in the short yardage. Takes a dive. He didn't need much, though, about maybe a foot. Bombers weren't about to give him much there as well on that line of scrimmage, but it does indeed look like it is enough for a first down for the Red Blacks.
Now, I have sort of my tongue in my cheek a little on that, but you know what I'm saying is that we hear often you have a star player like Gino Lewis on the outside who in 25 targets in 5 games has 13 catches. I mean, this is a guy that is a 1,800-yard guy, and Jake Maier has just simply got to find a way to get Gino Lewis the football.
Ball's just outside the 25 of Winnipeg. In this 3-3 tie, here's Bell. Tries to break it to the right, but again, good run coverage. That's Michael Griffin, the strong side linebacker, coming in and doing a nice job there as they still have trouble getting Bell going.
Yeah, clearly this defense has talked about and worked on throughout the last couple of weeks their run-stopping defense. First of all, it was Tony Jones that forced the bounce to the outside, and then Griffin came in and finished the job. But Jordan Younger's group has been not so good early in this season, over 100 yards a game.
So 2nd and long from the right hash now for Maier to pass again. Again with time and coming down for Hardy, and once again it is Griffin making his presence felt, and Ottawa's well shy of a first down.
I'm sure this is tempting for Ryan Dinwiddie, but I'll take the points. That's
about 4 yards.
Yeah, 3rd, 4, 5. Field goal kicker and Brett Lawther, who has not missed a field goal.
I was going to say, you held up there. You can give the stats. You're not jinxing a thing by just saying he's 15 for 15 on the season.
No jinxes, just say
not at all. Here's Lawther again. Try to put Ottawa in the lead again by 3, which he does. A shorter one that time of 27 yards for the Red Blacks kicker, the former Saskatchewan Rough Rider. As the quarter comes to an end. We also want to offer our thoughts for just the heartbreaking news today. Word coming from the Saskatchewan Roughriders of the passing of linebacker Jayden Dalkey in a car accident killed last night at the age of 30. I think of him and I look at his career suits and I just think just the prototypical Canadian football player.
Yeah.
Leduc, Alberta, and then goes on to play junior in Edmonton and then the University of Alberta, and then gets drafted by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Just a heartbreaking story.
Fantastic family, outstanding football player. I mean, a guy that Coach Mace had said with his versatility, there's not a position that he can't play on the field, and his intensity and what a great teammate that Jayden Dalkey was, and that's what I think was emphasized more. He just came off the injury list recently and talked about how much he missed playing with his teammates, and that his teammates, he just loved them, and we're going to miss him. We're here for Ryan and Shannon and the rest of the family, and yeah, just tragic news.
Yeah, to his devoted parents, his family, friends, teammates as well, our heartfelt condolences on the passing of Jayden Dalkey, all too young at the age of 30. Through one quarter in Ottawa on this sunny Sunday night in July. It's the Red Blacks leading once again by 3. Ryan Dinwiddie, a couple of field goals from Brett Lawther, and talking things over with Jake Maier, went 6 for 7 for 42 yards. And it's the Bombers trailing by 3 with the ball back to start at their 40-yard line. Quarter number 2. Ex-Red Black quarterback Drew Brown back in Winnipeg. His second start since coming back. And hands it off, and that's Michael Chris Ike, the fullback. And a short gain for them on first down.
You know, interesting, back to that game where Drew Brown, with one practice, steps on the field, leads the team to a win against the Toronto Argonauts at home in their last one. It was the first time that the Bombers all season had led at halftime. Drew Brown just started slinging it like he knew this offense, like he was a good fit in this offense.
Plays called by Tommy Condell, his OC last year in Ottawa. And he completes that pass, and it's a first down. Leg still pumping on the first catch of the evening for Nick Dembski. And a gain of 20 for Winnipeg.
No, we haven't really weighed in on a ton on it, but I will say what I found strange about what went down here in Ottawa early in the season coming out of training camp and the decision to go with Jake Maier. What I found strange was not to take anything away from Jake Maier winning the job, but that when they started 0 for 3, Drew Brown didn't get any playing time in the regular season. They didn't even look at it.
Back to the running game there.
And that's when he went in and said, you might as well trade me.
Yeah.
You know, and the trade happened, and
well, he did make it clear he was quite upset about the decision that was made in the preseason with the commitment to Jake Maier by Ryan Dinwiddie. And both sides felt it best that he does move on after 2 years as the #1 quarterback, getting the free agent deal because of how well he played.
Yeah.
Instead of Zach Collaros when he was hurt back in 2023, winning a couple of starts. 4-man rush, deep shot down the rail to the right, jumping forward is Pokey Wilson. And no, Shakur Brown is there to help break things up and force the Red Blacks, or the Blue Bombers, now on 3rd down.
Yeah, Shakur Brown plays over top of Pokey Wilson on this road a ton. Here's Wilson out at the wideout spot. 2 receivers into the boundary, straight go route down the sideline, and you can see how Brown has him in control, has his eyes on the ball, plays the ball, no PI. Can't play it much better at that corner spot.
So Castillo comes back on to see if he can tie the game from 53. Longest of the season, 56. Sergio Castillo, known for being able to hit long field goals just like Brett Lather, and does knock that one through. So battle of 3 so far as Ottawa starts it. Winnipeg answers. We're back into a tie game now. 12:22 to go until halftime. We have a 6-6 tie. Castillo all pumped up. 2 for 2 in the night. He started in Winnipeg, and then after the 23 season, free agent to the Ottawa Red Blacks, and lost his job with Ryan Dinwiddie coming in, and now back with Winnipeg trying to stick it to the Red Blacks as we get out of the field and say hello to Britt Dort.
Thanks, Rod. And you guys have kind of talked about it all night, how raw he was about the emotion of losing that starting job at the beginning of this season. He said he felt like he had a good training camp, and eventually he said, I actually had to simmer that emotion given how the season was starting, and eventually said, okay, I think I need to leave this place, and eventually had to move on to a place where he said, I felt wanted. I wanted to go where I had chances, because he said, I didn't want to waste a year of playing football or not playing football when I'm really good at my career, I feel like right now. And obviously Winnipeg very familiar with him. He feels like he can get where he's left off. He feels like they believe in him. And regarding his relationship with Zach Collaros, he says he's talked to him since he left Winnipeg about everything and anything, to the point where he even said, I don't know how to repay him for all he's done for me so far in my career.
Yeah, Brett, I mean, very open about that, as he was when he was going up against Collaros when he was still in Ottawa, but close friends, and does feel indebted to what the help he's got from Zach Collaros.
Well, yeah, and Michael O'Shea told us that, you know, if he understood that Drew had to go and take this starting job in Ottawa when that opportunity came up. But Coach O'Shea said if it were up to me, he would never have left. They feel pretty strongly that Drew Brown can be the guy on a team. They're happy to have him. And what a trade for the timing.
It really was. Now it's a 2nd and 5 with Maier throwing, and completes it for the first down to Justin Hardy at midfield, and a gain of 8 or 9.
So where does that leave Jake Maier? Jake Maier, who again had great things to say about Drew, and they both did about each other, but a lot of pressure on him right now. And I say a game-changing or a career-changing game. I really believe this is for Maier.
And a big start for him tonight, no question. Look for that first win. Here we go. After the completion from the Ottawa 53. Completes it underneath the Dan Adeboboye, but again, This Bomber defense, especially Griffin and Jones, some good tackling in this one so far.
Yeah, that's really been the key for them. I mean, both those linebackers, well, Griffin is the tweener, but both of those linebackers playing great to the football. Feet live, closing quickly, and then when they get there, they're making sure they wrap up and pull the ball carrier down. Out of a boy in this case.
Good tackling in the opening field for Winnipeg, and a player is down for Ottawa. It looks like the right tackle, Zach Pelias.
Samuel Carson is dressed at a Louisiana Monroe as the 6th offensive lineman.
Well, when we're talking about depth and offensive line,
yeah,
they have the one. They have Carson. Look what we saw last night with Hamilton, who lost both of their tackles. And it was a tight end, Max Mang, who had to come in that one. And ultimately, the Tiger Cat victory, but that wasn't easy.
Yeah, Max Mang, took some lumps early, but he threw that anchor out and held on.
And so Carson comes in. They juggle things on the O-line here with Pelias coming off, the right tackle. And there we go from there. Pressure coming from Willie Jefferson. Gets it away. And it is caught again. Coming back to the football right around the first down mark is Hardy.
Good throw. Good throw and run. This is a precise route. You see Hardy is going to run that curl. Precise route. Quad formation to the wide side of the field and comes back to the football. Textbook.
So Jake Mayer is 9 for 10 for 62 yards right now. And they're into the Bombers zone. Just about in scoring position again, down to the 45. And looking for more in this 6-6 tie. Over the middle again to Aiden Eberhardt. The leading receiver for the Red Blacks coming into this game had been a fond target of Nathan Rourke in the last couple of years of the BC Lions, gain of 9.
He really has, and that's saying something when you have Justin Hardy and Eugene Lewis in your lineup. And I'm not taking anything away from Aiden Eberhardt, who, when I checked his stats with the BC Lions, I was surprised that he didn't have that 1,000-yard season. I mean, it felt like he did.
Had just so many targets there as well.
Lots of targets, and he was just short last year, but.
Bryson Barnes, short yardage again, dives over to the left side, has himself a first down, picks up 3.
But Eberhardt's had 2 100-yard games already this season, is on pace for 1,357. That would be a career high. Second down conversion rate also up there, and then their 7 touchdowns. All projections, of course.
And you think of like who he's behind really in terms of catches in BC when you got Hatcher and McInnes.
Yeah, it's true.
There's so many targets over the Lions.
But Hardy,
yeah, you got here.
Hardy and Lewis.
Absolutely. Hardy, especially in his time with Ottawa, had been their number 1. But you're right, and Eberhardt getting his catches. Here's off to the left for Hardy again. Major Williams right there. Push him out. Another pickup down to the 30. Second down coming up.
Jake Mayer is running the offense with a high level of efficiency right now. He's seeing it, seeing where he wants to go. First down, getting a nice chunk of yards, 6, 5, getting him in second and manageable situations.
And another thought on the pressure of Jake Mayer. Remember what he went through in Calgary in the early days when they benched Bo Levi Mitchell, and he was the guy that was coming on that way.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
Yeah, tough shoes to fill.
Finger pointing time as Willie Jefferson looks to be the one who jumped early.
Might give him a chance, the Red Blacks,
offside,
to go on the short
Winnipeg
yardage.
number 5. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
As announced by the referee Ben Major, one of the legends in the history of the Canadian Football League.
It's not hard to recognize which guy is Willie Jefferson in the lineup. It's the oak tree standing amongst the other D linemen.
35 years young and still a menace to opposing quarterbacks is number 5. Bryson Barnes is in on a 2nd and 1 at the Winnipeg 25. So he's had a busy first half in these short yardage plays, and once again they'll move the sticks. Another Red Black first down.
Yeah, now this is where they've stalled in 2 drives now with these field goals, and this is where Jake Mayer really needs to step up and continue to run the same high level of offense that he's running right now. I mean, he's been efficient. Production on first down is there. Second and manageables. Getting the ball out of his hands with good decisions. Here they come.
Winnipeg 22, and little toss there inside. Keelan White rounds the edge, and that's sweet. And a good pickup as he gets it down to about the 11. And another first down, or close to it. Might be just second and short.
Just love the play because the Bombers are coming from blitz on the opposite side. And just Tommy Condell just happens to have a play to Keelan White that takes him the complete opposite direction.
And it was enough for the first down. Keelan White in his second year. One of the top draft picks in 2025. The running back is Daniel Adeboboye, right in behind Jake Mayer. And the flag comes out.
Time count violation, Ottawa number 13. The 5-yard penalty will replay first down.
So that hurts, and what's been an impressive drive, frustration for Ryan Dinwiddie is that has to push them back now. This is as deep as they've gone into the Bombers zone. And that causes some substitutions, changing things up now.
Jake Mayer, I think, was motioning to the officials that he wanted a heads up, that it was getting close. But there's 20-second clocks. You got 35 seconds at the end of the play. That's the new rule. And then the 20-second clock starts, and not snapped before that thing goes out. Play a game.
So a 1st and 15 with the 5-yard penalty from the Winnipeg 17. We'll draw there. Bell. Greg Bell grinds his way down. Close to the 10. And a 6-yard pickup.
You think about his yardage before coming to Ottawa. At one season with about 1,400 yards from the line of scrimmage. He's on pace for half of that this year.
They get a 2nd and 9 now at the Winnipeg 11. Tie ball game, blitz coming. Mayer gets rid of it into the end zone, wide open, but out of bounds for Gino Lewis. Had him in behind coverage, but just a little bit too far to the left for Lewis to keep his feet in.
Well, full blitz from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and Major Williams is going to be in the one-on-one out here on Gino Lewis. And it's a little bit of a stop-and-go route, and he's wide open. Jake Mayer was fading away because of that blitz, and just wasn't accurate enough on the throw.
So Lawther again, a little frustration for Dinwiddie as they do get points, but it's the field goal again. That's all we've got from Ottawa so far, despite the ability to move the football, as Lawther is 3 for 3. And again, the Red Blacks have a 3-point lead. So back it'll go to the Blue Bombers. Ottawa looking for win number 1 tonight. Beautiful night in the nation's capital with the Red Blacks finally looking to break out and get a win. And the Bombers 3-2 after back-to-back wins in Hamilton and again at home last week with Drew Brown at quarterback to beat the Toronto Argonauts. They will scrimmage at their 40, and again for the 3rd time in this game they're down a field goal, looking to respond, and quickly off to the right, caught by Pokey Wilson, and making that play is Deontay Ruffin. His debut with the Red Blacks. He was in training camp with the BC Lions, got cut in May. Of course, he'd been with the Montreal Alouettes, won a Grey Cup with the Owls back in 2023.
2023 for sure. And Adrian Fry started at that spot this season, and it's now Deontay Ruffin's job. He's going to have his hands full too with the receiving corps with Dembski and Ontario Wilson out there.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7 from the Winnipeg 43 in a 9-6 ball game. Brown to the right, caught, gets Wilson. Working well with him. They certainly did last week when he had over 100 and a first down for Winnipeg.
Pokey Wilson, Rod, comes out of his break here and he stumbles a little bit. Watch how quickly he recovers. Little bit of a curl and then bang to the outside. And as he comes back and twists back outside, just focuses on that ball. Great catch and route.
From the 48, here's Brady Oliveira. Luigi Villain had a shot at him and just couldn't hang on as Oliveira picks up another few yards. He ends up with 4.
Interesting story in Luigi Villain. Some mentioned off the top, 3rd round pick for the Argos back in 21. Academic all Big Ten conference in 18, like high football IQ.
And then ended up in the NFL and some practice rosters. Was in the NFL for a little while, but yeah, came out of Wake Forest and wanted, as you say, to come home. He wanted to get back to Ottawa. The Argos traded him back. To the right now, and that is caught by Tommy Neal, his first catch of this game, as he is pushed out by Shakur Brown after a gain of 7 and a first down for Winnipeg.
It's funny, you know, we've set up the whole quarterback duel here, and both quarterbacks have looked very similar in this game. I mean, very efficient between the 30s, and then they get close to that red zone, and all of a sudden things go a little sideways and we can settle in for field goals. So let's see if Drew Brown can break that trend.
Looking to push the Bombers offense into the end zone. They are down with a first down to the Ottawa 37. Be the last play before the 3-minute warning. Brown over the middle and deeper, and caught too by the veteran Nick Dembski. He has it down at the 20. And a 17-yard pickup as Winnipeg is in business.
To run a 17-yard curl, which is basically what Nick Dembski ran, you need protection up front. Drew Brown got it.
At his time, took advantage. 3 minutes on the clock. The warning is given. And the Bombers threatening to at very least tie the game again, but they're thinking lead.
Do you like field goals? Then this is the football game for you. But you know what? Suits just said it perfectly. Both these quarterbacks actually quite efficient, but they haven't done much in the red zone. We'll see if the Bombers can do something right now. Halftime with these two beauties coming up.
These two beauties.
Oh, they are beauties, aren't they? Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Yeah, but played between the 20s, really. I mean, we'll see if Winnipeg can change this trend. But the yardage number is not as impressive. The completion percentages are, with Brown 9 of 12 and Mayer 12 of 14. And if ever there's a night where quarterback comparisons are irresistible, it is in a game like this. Such as it is with the field goals. Castillo and Rutloff. The handoff. Oliveira putting his head down. 4 tougher earned yards to get it down close to the 15.
That's the RPO look where Drew Brown has a choice, and his choice on that play was to give it to Brady Oliveira. Tommy Condell is going to give Drew Brown the choice. Now Brown will have to pull that ball a couple of times to keep the defensive ends for Ottawa honest.
Condell, the OC in Ottawa last year. Will one of these teams find the end zone soon? From the 16 and a 2nd and 6 and a flag. Broken up by Ottawa nicely, and that intended pass there to Tommy Neal. That's DeMario Houston, the ex-Bomber, breaking it up.
Well, DeMario Houston can
Holding.
jump.
Winnipeg number 66. The penalty is declined. Result of the play is 3rd down.
The reason that DeMario Houston jumped that route is because the Red Blacks showed blitz like this, and then they dropped out of it. So Drew Brown thought that he had a blitz coming, but you see the droppers. It was just 4-man pressure. DeMario Houston knew he had guys helping him behind him so he can jump that intermediate short route, and he goes after it.
So again, these defenses are bending but not breaking. Kate Burness's favorite play. We got a field goal from Sergio Castillo this time, and we got a pattern here. Ottawa by 3. Winnipeg comes back and ties it up again. Good night for the Kickers. 9-9 the score. 2:33 in the clock until halftime. Not good when you start 0-5, but there are examples of teams that had that fate and ended up coming back and making the playoffs. And yes, that's the highlight, because BC started 0-5, went back and won the Grey Cup in 2011.
Yeah, Travis Lulay leading the BC Lions all the way back from an 0-5 start. By the way, if you're thinking, has any team ever won it going 0-6? And the answer is one team went 0-6, the 69 BC Lions. and made the playoffs. But did not finish that year and win it. So,
well, Ryan Dinwiddie, very candid when we talked to him about the quarterback situation in Drew Brown. Very candid about how surprised he is, how stunned the way this season has started. He's never been through anything like this.
Yeah, neither has Drew Brown at any level. Pop Warner, high school, college. Unfamiliar territory for all of them.
At the 40, tie game again. Willie Jefferson breaking in. He got his hand up.
Yeah, he did.
Willie Jefferson get the big meat hook up there on a quarterback and make his day very difficult on Marin that throw, and it gets knocked.
Yeah, I love the absolute sort of approach that Mike O'Shea has when he talks about Willie Jefferson. And we say, you know, he's got a couple sacks. So if you're wondering about his age, he just kind of cuts it all off. He says he contributes and you have to game plan. I don't care how many sacks he gets. He is still dominant. And he's watching the film. That's how he knows.
Always a force. So Marin 2nd and 10 stepping up. Gets rid of it. Deep downfield and caught by Pimpleton inside the Bomber 30. Biggest play on offense for the Red Blacks in this game. A pickup of 41 yards.
Really is, because Drew Brown makes a real accurate throw on the dead run. He's going to bail out of the pocket here and get on the run. He's being chased down by the D-line for the Bombers. He's on the run trying to look across. He sees Pimpleton on that deep crossing post route and hits him between the 1 and the 3.
So suddenly the Red Blacks again. Yeah.
The 8 and the 3.
And getting down inside the 30. Daniel Adeboboye in and running back in behind there. 1st and 10. Adeboboye on the toss. Gets away. Nearly lost yardage, but he cuts it back up and he picks up a couple. It's Jake Kelly in pursuit to take him down.
Real good run defense. It's a great idea, especially when you get down in this end of the field, for Jordan Younger to go with these run blitzes. Basically, he's blitzing everybody. If they throw it, they continue on to the quarterback. If they don't, all the gaps are covered, so it really takes away the run. See if they dial it up here on 2nd and long.
Adeboboye had to backtrack and ends up picking up a couple of yards. It's a 2nd and 8 at the Winnipeg 27 now. 9-9 tie. And it's getting late here until halftime. Mayer under pressure. Checks it down to Adeboboye, who gets it down to about the 22.
I think he's getting closer. It's about 1.5 yards, maybe 2. Scramble rules here. Couldn't find a target, so he checks it down, but...
Well, the offense was waiting for a while, but no, they want that lead again, so I'm sure Ryan Dinwiddie's tired of kicking field goals, but Lawther comes out again.
I mean, it's about 2. You definitely want to finish with points here.
So Lawther's 3 for 3 on the night. This is a 29-yard attempt from the right hash to give Ottawa their 4th lead of this ball game, always by 3. And looking to take it at least to the dressing room with 1:15 to go. But given the pattern of this game so far, don't be too shocked if Winnipeg can come back and tie it again before halftime. Save big this summer and stream the hottest shows, movies, HBO exclusives, and select sports now on Crave. Scan the QR code on the screen and get 40% off Crave with a premium annual plan. Rod Smith, Glenn Suter, Britt Dorff back here in TD Place in Ottawa. The Red Blacks up against Drew Brown and the Bombers. Ottawa looking for their first win of the season, starting it at 0-5. Winnipeg football trailing by 3 again, knocked away at the line of scrimmage. Look, Jelani Stafford got his hands up.
Getting a little double team. If you're double teaming, you can't get there. Get your hands up. Stafford, who used to run short yardage in college with the football.
I can see him covering some real estate. That size, pressure on Brown.
wasn't.
And he has to throw it away to the Bomber bench. And a flag comes out.
Holding Winnipeg number 66. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is third down.
Getting the veteran left tackle, future Hall of Famer Stanley Bryant there.
Yeah, basically, you know, this is a chance for Jake Maier here to put some more points on the board before the half. Got Pimpleton back there in the return game.
And a break in the pattern for the first time. Winnipeg's punting with Jamison Sheehan. End over end down to the right. It takes a hop down towards the 20 for Pimpleton. Not much room there after a good punt of 49 yards by Jamison Sheehan with under a minute to go until halftime.
Those are great punts that just die inbounds in between the numbers and the sideline.
Kate Burness and Paul LaPolice and Davis Sanchez, and Lapo and Chesney just beaming now because Kate called them a couple of beauties.
Well,
coming up at halftime with their thoughts in this game.
She's not wrong. See, Lapo's one of the guys who will say, you know, you got to go through your progressions.
Yes.
And you got to read the defense, and where the defense dictates, and you got to go with the ball there. And I'm saying throw it to 87.
That's your offense. Nice and simple, right? Four-man rush. They're throwing. Going to add to their total before halftime, and this will certainly help the cause with Pimpleton. Still standing up as the whistle blows there, and Jonathan Moxey. But a first down and close to midfield for the Red Blacks.
Yeah, 2 plays away from field goal position for sure, and maybe more. That's what I mean. The 2 and out on that from that Ottawa defense gives Jake Maier that opportunity. Used to be like, remember Don Matthews, late Don Matthews, working with Doug Flutie? Used to say, here's the ball. You go ahead and do it.
Just do your thing. Don't get in the way. Coming back to it and catching it, Aiden Eberhardt has another one just inside the Bomber 50. So with 29 seconds on the clock and a 6-yard gain, this is actually in a second down, but this is actually a situation where they probably wouldn't mind kicking a field goal and
yeah, exactly,
getting what they can before halftime.
Another 3 before the half.
There again. 4-man rush. Open receiver, Eberhardt. And inside the 20 and still going. 12 seconds on the clock. Inside the 15. Again, forget the field goal talk. Ottawa wants and needs a touchdown.
Well, probably one play, one attempt at it, and then get the field goal team out there if it's not successful.
They get close. On that 36-yard gain down to the 13. End zone look. They're all tied up. Major Williams on Geno Lewis. And a blatant pass interference call is coming up here.
Defensive pass interference. Winnipeg number 24. The foul occurred in goal. It's going to be first down for Ottawa at the 1-yard line.
This is my play. This is my offensive playbook. In full display right here. Throw it to 87. See what happens. This is the exact same blitz from Winnipeg and the exact same throw that Jake Maier missed. Remember, he threw it out of bounds up here? That time he threw it to the open receiver who was interfered with.
Here's Bryson Barnes looking for the first touchdown of the game, and they've got it. Touchdown Red Blacks. Right at the end of the first half. 2 seconds to go. Time to cut a wood cookie. Bryson Barnes.
Yep. Good push up the middle. Sean McEwen led the way, went right behind his center.
And the point after this time for Brett Loffa. After all those field goals, 4 of them before, they finally do get a touchdown after 5 plays, 82 yards, and a pass interference call helped them out as well. All in under a minute and 51 seconds.
You know, part of the game plan and the playbook to my number 87 playbook, is that whether he catches the ball or doesn't catch the ball, the way he route runs, the way he can win the 50-50 ball when you throw it to him, that gets DBs, especially young ones, a little bit antsy. And that was a blatant, uh-oh, I'm beat, I got to grab him. Sets up the 1-yard touchdown.
And the Red Blacks, obviously, at 0-5, haven't had a lot of good feelings in this season so far. Home losses to Edmonton in the rain, and then losing to the Argos, and that one against Saskatchewan, too, with that punt return touchdown for the Riders. But only halfway through, but you have to think this franchise, looking for its first win, is feeling a little bit better right now with a 10-point lead to take to the dressing room. Barring a kick return for a touchdown, of course, with Trey Vavel back. Never assume anything with 23 back there, and Michael Chris Ike as well, 25 for the Bombers. There's Vavel. Big missed field goal return for a touchdown. Wow. Such drama against the Argos. Quite a point swing, too. But it's a squib by Lawther. Let them take it a little further up the field. And that's Dante Daniels, big tight end, taking it, and that's it. That's halftime. And Jake Mayer and the Red Blacks will head to the dressing room against Drew Brown and the Bombers with a 10-point lead.
Got to work on both teams, I would suggest, have to work on their red zone offenses. It's been right down to about the 30 where they've looked very efficient, both sides of the ball. I think the Ottawa Red Blacks have to be real happy with their defensive effort in that first half. The way Drew Brown played against Toronto, and Toronto's defense last week when he threw for 339 and was slinging it around the yard. He's been efficient. Short, intermediate stuff in the middle of the field, but get down the red zone, try to take some shots, and Ottawa's been there.
Well, how about Aiden Eberhardt's first half? He had a couple of big plays, including a 36-yarder from Jake Mayer that got them close on this touchdown drive. And Eberhardt now standing by with Britt Dordt.
Aiden, a big play from yourself there that helped lead to the first touchdown of this game. How big was it to break it open?
Yeah, you know, we're playing with confidence. We're flying around. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone's smiling a little bit. That's only half, though. We got to come out the same way next half and be able to shut this game down, keep putting points on the board, and get a win.
You're mentioning the smiling. I know you were very vocal this week about the dynamic shifting of this group at practice, despite this team's record. Yeah. Can you speak to the motivation level of this group right now?
Yeah, we're really motivated. I mean, you start out 0-5. That's a tough spot to be in. This is the CFL, so we do have a lot of games left. And I think everyone started to pick up on that. And, yeah, being 0-5, you want that first win really, really bad. So everyone's doing what they can to get it.
We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Kate. Well, they finally broke it open. We got a touchdown here.
And Britt, I agree with Aiden Eberhardt. There seems to be a little bit of a mood shift right now when it comes to the Ottawa Red Blacks. And we kind of saw that coming out of practice this week. We always thought, okay, how is that going to translate to the game? Well, so far, so good. They're currently up by 10. And look, all the hype coming into this game was surrounding Drew Brown facing his former team. He's going to get all his revenge. But I got to give it to Jake Mayer in this first half, Ches. I mean, maybe he heard all this talk because he is 17 of 20. He's got 199 yards. Yeah. And all of a sudden, he looks really comfortable in this offense.
He does. And, I mean, Aiden Eberhardt said it right there. I mean, you don't want to go. You're 0-5. I don't know if there's a must win in your sixth game of the season. But if you go into this bye week with the Ottawa Red Blacks and you're losing this game, and you're 0-6. If there's a LinkedIn for professional football players, a bunch of these suckers are going to be on it because that's just the nature of this business.
You got that number? Can I get
Yeah. We all needed it at one point in our lives. But I will tell you what, there's a lot of reasons for this 0-5 start, and some of them have been the quarterback play, but not all of them. And Kate, you said it. Jake Mayer has been really good this first half. I mean, this offensive line has struggled. Prior to this, no team's been more dependent on pass the ball. They can't get the run game going. Their protection has not been great. But when they have those things, Jake's looked really good in this first half. I think they're calling it good. Ryan Dinwiddie's got a good job calling it. He's got him on the move, some quick throws. He's got Pippleton going. He's got Hardy going. This is exactly what they said. And we always hear, we had a great week of practice. It's a different feel. And we're like, I'm not buying it. I'm buying this one. This team looks like they understand the magnitude, and maybe they've come together a bit.
And I think emotionally for Drew Brown, he's got to be careful about, hey, it's my opportunity to show up this old team. You just got to keep playing football. And what he's done, he's got 9 of 15, 60% completion, 99 yards, nothing fancy here. I'd love Brady Oliveira to get more plays, 4 rushes, 18 yards to help. It's not always on the quarterback, guys. So sometimes you got to help out. There's got to be a play on defense or anything. But the big thing for Drew is just keep playing football. Sooner or later, something's going to happen in our favor to go make a play. And, as we kind of joke in some of these games with both sides of the ball, can't score, and it's field goal after field goal. One of the reasons, and I think is real important for these guys, they've got to create an explosive or two. One of the things when I was coaching, I used to try to talk to the players about the red zone we don't care about because sometimes we're going to throw it through the red zone and you're going to run right through the red zone with an explosive play because it's harder when you get inside the 20. Right. So can they, in the second half, create some type of explosive play where you don't have to worry about getting those last couple plays inside the 10? You just run through it. The top teams in the league right now, Montreal, Toronto, Saskatchewan, all are great explosive football players. Can they do that in the second half? Both teams.
You know what would help that? It'll help Ottawa, Lapo. Again, I think I mentioned it, but they're 86% pass on the season. But Bell right now, Greg Bell is 6 for 14, and it's clear it's a priority for Ryan Dinwiddie to get Greg Bell going. But if they can get that run game going,
but Pelios goes out again,
they can get it down the field.
And they
even
tried Adeboboye in there as well too. But they need to establish a run game.
That might open those deep.
Helps Jake Mayer, right?
And you know what? Too, kudos to the Ottawa defense. The Ottawa defense was really good in that first half too. I mean, they were very solid, no problems on that side of the ball. So right now, Ottawa feeling pretty good with the fact they are up at 19-9, looking for their first win of the season. Coming up after the break, we have all your Week 7 highlights, and the beauties tell you what they look for the most. As promised, Week 7 highlights. Friday's game, Elks hosting the Lions on the game's opening drive. Nathan Rourke going to be sacked. The reigning MOP would leave the game with a shoulder injury. You hate to see it. And he would be replaced by Chase Bryce in this one. Jumped in the third quarter. Lions down by 9. Bryce throws his 4th interception of the game. This one picked off by Kenny Logan Jr. as the Lions would struggle without Rourke. And they would drop 1-4 on the season, 19-17. Your final to Saturday's action we go. Alouettes and Stampeders tied at 32. Just over a minute. Davis Alexander going to find Ferdinand for his 3rd passing touchdown of the game. Calgary looking to respond. 3rd down. VA. He's going to find Brooks, who puts the ball on the ground. Montreal recovers. What an ending this one. Montreal escapes after almost blowing a 22-point lead. They improved to 5-1 on the season. Then the second half of the Saturday doubleheader was the Battle of the QEW. Trey Ford making his first start, the Tiger Cat. Finds Kenny Lawler in the back of the end zone. Look at that grab. What a great play from both guys. Showing the connection, but the Argos the chance to win it late in the game. But Liram Hairolahu wide left. We all know with the new rule, that is not a single point. We did not go to overtime. And the Tiger Cats won the football game. Lapo, a lot of storylines going on this week. What was your biggest one?
I'm going to say Nathan Rourke being injured because Chase Bryce had some decent numbers, but 4 interceptions is going to be very difficult. What can they do? I thought the defense the last 2 weeks gotten much better to lose only by 2 with those 4 interceptions. So it's going to be a tough run for them the next couple of weeks if Nathan's going to be out for a while.
Yeah, mine is Montreal quietly, 5-1 quietly right now. And if you look at what Davis Alexander is doing, he's got 13 plays of over 30 yards, so they're explosive down the field. Plus, they have Travis Tyson, that running game that was really coming around. And they have a nasty O-line, too. I mean, I just think that it's kind of expected out of Montreal, so I think that we're kind of sleeping on how dominant and good they've been.
They are the best team in the league.
Davis is the best Davis playing Montreal in a while.
Wow. That is a compliment, Davis Sanchez.
The sun starting to set here in the nation's capital along the Rideau Canal at the half. A TD Place, the Red Blacks have a 19-9 lead over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers suits. First time this season that Ottawa's had the lead heading into the second half.
Yeah, and you consider that, you know, I know they're 0-5, but Ottawa has been close to some good teams. Montreal, they lost by 2. Saskatchewan, they lost by 5. I mean, this team has been knocking on the door. Can they kick it open here tonight against the Bombers?
Well, for all the talk, too, of Drew Brown, you said it. Jake Maier must feel like he has something to prove as well, and he had a pretty good first half.
Yeah, high level of efficiency, especially between the 30s, and then finally punched through with a touchdown late in that half, going to Geno Lewis, who drew the PI call. That was maybe their biggest play down the field to Pimpleton. But yeah, I thought, I agree with the panel. I thought they talked about Jake Maier saying that, you know, made good decisions. He was efficient, on top of his game. Now can Ottawa finish?
He was 17 for 20 for 199 yards passing. And they do finally get to the end zone, too. Dan Adeboboye and Khalil Pimpleton are back for the kick. So Maier should be getting the ball first with the Red Blacks here at Castillo with the kickoff. So that's heading Pimpleton's way down inside the 10. Khalil Pimpleton cuts it back to the left, tries to get the edge. And around Ethan Stewart and Evan Holm. And the straight arm there as he heads out of bounds at the 35. So Maier will come back on. Right at the end of the first half, after the two teams were trading field goals, Ottawa finally found the end zone.
So one quarterback on your right that wants to prove his coach right, and one quarterback on your left that wants to prove his former coach wrong. Those are the numbers. Late in the quarter, I think those yardage numbers for Jake Maier started to accumulate, especially with that Pimpleton play down the middle.
The Pimpleton one, and then later the Eberhard one, too. Yeah, the two biggest passing plays for Ottawa in this one. Starting at the 36 with a 10-point lead. Maier pressure right in his face as he got rid of the ball. It's complete to Eberhard. A big play right out of the gate. But flags in the Ottawa backfield as Maier really got hit as he was getting rid of the ball.
I guarantee you talk to Jake Maier, he will tell you he'll take as many of these as he has to get that first win. That's head contact, though, and that's the issue here. That was where the penalty flag came out. Eberhard's running his route. Maier's running out of time. I think it was Michael Fletcher that went helmet to helmet.
Well, that was a 34-yard gain in the pass to Eberhard. And then you tack on the 15 more yards with Michael Fletcher coming in on that hit to the quarterback, Jake Maier. So just with one play, Ottawa all the way down in the Bombers zone.
Well, Michael Fletcher is a 24-year-old rookie, so he's trying to ask. It looked like to me he was trying to ask the official.
Roughing the passer. Winnipeg, number 93. Will go up 25 yards from the end of the play.
Well, that's a big
one. First down for Ottawa.
So as Ben Major announces, grade 2, so not 15 more, 25. So a 59-yard difference with the big passing play and the penalty yardage, in Ottawa in business to start the second half.
Yeah, and Fletcher got the explanation from the officials where you can't lead with your helmet and use it as a weapon. And whether, I don't think it was by any stretch of the imagination intentional, but see why it was called.
Right down to the Winnipeg 15, faking the handoff, looking for a receiver down inside the 5 and has it too. That's a catch for Justin Hardy. And we have a first and goal coming up here for the Ottawa Red Blacks after that 13-yard gain.
Boy, not an easy catch for Justin Hardy. He's going to run that just a little game there with Geno Lewis and then sits down nicely. And that's a tough catch to make, going down off your shoe tops and keeping it off the turf.
For the veteran Justin Hardy. So the Red Blacks ended the first half by finally finding the end zone and now looking to start the second half the same way. They're down to a first and goal from the 2.
What do we got?
Ottawa took a timeout.
So a timeout for the Red Blacks. Want to make sure they get this right.
Wrong personnel for the play that was called, it looks like. But let's take a look. That was some kind of catch by Justin Hardy. And now goes to 3rd all-time in Ottawa franchise history couple big names. Remember the former quarterback?
Oh, yeah, Brad Sinopoli, and part of the Grey Cup winning team 10 years ago. And
yeah.
Boy, Tony Gabriel, one of my heroes growing up here in the nation's capital when they won the Grey Cup back in '76. He had the winning catch. And, yeah, Hardy joining some elite company. So here we go. Barnes looking for another touchdown. He scored the Red Blacks touchdown at short yardage, but not enough there on that 1st and goal. So they'll run it 2nd down. Very close.
Do it again. Well, Ottawa's looking at right now when you think about the throw and the price that Jake Maier had to pay to get it out there to Eberhardt. Then the 25-yard penalty tacked on, the catch by Hardy. Ottawa's poised to double-double here. They finished the first half with a major.
Bryson Barnes tries it again. A little second effort. Does he break the plane? They take a look at that, and still no official announcement here. We could be looking at a 3rd and goal.
And that old villain, self-doubt, just climbed into the heads of the Ottawa Red Blacks. That final yard is the toughest, always.
They're going to have a 3rd crack at getting it, and what a stand this would be for the Bomber defense if they can do it again. Touchdown or bust for Ottawa. And Barnes, no, he doesn't get in. Kyrie Wilson, among the Bombers, gets in quickly, and Wilson gets him wrapped. And what a stand by Winnipeg. A turnover on downs on the 1. Ottawa had a 1st and goal and a chance to really open it up. Up by 10 and looking for more. 3 tries for Barnes. 3 times denied. Kyrie Wilson, and frustration for Ryan Dinwiddie.
Bombers come back in this game. Mark this goal line stand. Play 1. First down from the 1. No shot. Tried to go over the middle. Barnes. Not that time either. That was Tony Jones stopping him. And then the middle linebacker, Kyrie Wilson, comes off the edge, beats the block, and stops Barnes cold. 3 straight plays from the 1-yard line. The Bombers deny the Ottawa Major.
And a conversation with Ryan Dinwiddie now. Yeah, what an important stop, too, for Winnipeg, down by 10. And the way that second half started. Kyrie Wilson.
Big plays in big games. Remember Kyrie Wilson in the 2 cups they won? Big plays in those games.
Back in 19 and 21, out of the end zone now, Brown with time, and his target up high. Tim White went, but he is covered well. It falls incomplete. Shakur Brown is there.
Drew Brown may have a scouting report on Shakur Brown because he's taken some shots at him. And yes, I know there's progressions, yada yada, but I'm looking at matchups, and Brown has been true to the test.
That drive was the first one Ottawa had where they didn't end up scoring points. 4-man rush here. And the Winnipeg run nearly intercepted by Brown. And that time covering, Pokey Wilson nearly had the pick, but as it stands, great goal line stand for the Bombers, but they're going to have to kick it away deep in their end zone.
Just the second year for Brown. Grew up in the Detroit area, and so not a whole lot of experience, but when you're a young rookie, if you want to make the team and become a star player in the league, you got to think this way on every play. Throw the ball in my zone or to my man.
Jamison Sheehan punting it away for Khalil Pendleton at midfield. Just on the Winnipeg side of it. And a good tackle on special teams by Nick Hallett after a 53-yard punt. So Ottawa didn't get into the end zone. They'll be thinking about that. But Maier comes back on with a good place to start another drive, nearly in scoring position now. The story through much of the first half, the offenses were able to move the football, but just couldn't get into the end zone, so they were trading field goals. And that's the way it went with Lawther and Castillo suits until the end of the first half.
Well, they must have in the first half watched that World Cup final. Congratulations to Spain and all the fans of Spain. winning the World Cup, and they thought, well, we'll play the first half with our kickers involved in a big way, and then ended the first half with that score. That's why when they're on the 1-yard line, I thought they can double up here, score at the end of the first half, and then get the ball back to start the second and finish that first drive. Winnipeg had other ideas.
They sure did with a great goal line stand. It was 1st and goal from the 1 for Ottawa. 3 plays with Bryce and Barnes couldn't get the ball in. But good stand by the defense of their own. They forced Winnipeg to punt. They started the Bombers. 45 first down. Greg Bell. His best carry of the night as Bell gets a bit of help now. It's just a big rugby scrum as he gets close to 10 yards. Working it down near the 35. Call it a 9-yard pickup for Bell.
Yeah, for a running back to be great, they've got to see the ball a lot more. They've got to, they'll tell you between 20 and 25 touches in a game, and that could be some swing passes that are really just extended runs. And then they start to get a feel for the blocking, the angles, the defense that they're facing.
And that time the 1 yard needed was achieved by Bryson Barnes as he picks up another first down.
Here's a question. Short yardage, which is a story already here in this one tonight. Why not in short yardage not bring everybody in and make it just a pushing contest? Why not play with your regular offense, even on the 1 yard line, and then just hit a gap with the quarterback sneak?
I've heard that argument before. I'd be curious to hear what Lapo has to say about this.
Yeah,
but
Lapo's making notes back there.
Well, there is logic to it, though. You're right. You can't leave. You spread it out. You can't leave them uncovered. So defenses can't just stack up the box. A little pump fake, and then the throw, but good coverage there by Jonathan Moxey, and that's on Gino Lewis.
Boy, two great veterans. Jonathan Moxey, he's going one-on-one with Gino Lewis, and look at the technique. Inside coverage, inside leverage, sees the quick slant, and Mayer had to pump fake because Willie Jefferson was right in his throwing lane.
So they have a 2nd and 10 now after that incompletion from the Winnipeg 34, a 10-point Ottawa lead. 4-man rush, pressure coming, gets it away and completes it inside the 15 as Jake Kelly pushes out Greg Bell close to the 10. 24-yard pickup for the Red Blacks.
Yeah, and maybe the greatest example of Jake Mayer composure in this football game, because he was under the gun. Pressure, 3 defenders right in his face, saw the corner from his tailback and put it on him.
Pushed out there right at the 10. We got a 1st and goal, handing off. Bell again. Another good tackle by that Bomber defense coming in, the safety Reda Cramdy, who prevents him from getting any ground.
Now, Jordan Younger's done this formation down in this area a couple times to stop the run and bring Reda Cramdy down. He put Tony Jones on the edge, and if you're taking Cramdy, your free safety out of the middle, Jake Mayer's got to take note of that and say, hey, if number 6 coming down that low to the line of scrimmage, then we're going to go hot right over the middle.
2nd straight possession that the Red Blacks have had goal to go. This time, though, from the 10 and a 2nd down. Mayer has time, looks into the end zone, intercepted Kelly. Jake Kelly takes it away. So again, the Red Blacks come up with nothing when they get close to the Bomber end zone.
Jake Mayer wants Ryan Dinwiddie to challenge. He thought he saw pass interference.
And that red flag is in the right hand of Dinwiddie now. As it stands, ruled an interception. Mayer deep into the end zone, but no Ottawa receiver was there. Ends up in the hands of Kelly.
So Ryan Dinwiddie is going to challenge pass interference. There's Justin Hardy, the intended target. And they're saying there was contact made well beyond 5 right up here. That's the contact, and that was the intended receiver. Now, there is was the ball catchable, part of this discussion for the replay center, but Ryan Dinwiddie has challenged the play. Jake Kelly was over the top, wasn't covering. He's not the guy that committed the foul. If it is, in fact, a foul, in the eyes of the replay center, that was Diedrich Nichols.
Jake Kelly in his 4th year at a Bishops. So they called it an interception, challenged by Ottawa. Here's the decision of the replay center.
Upon further review, Ottawa had asked for a challenge, requesting for possible defensive pass interference on the play. Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. Ottawa loses their challenge, and their last team timeout. It's first down for Winnipeg.
So Jake Kelly gets his interception, and the first one of the season for him.
Yeah.
Just the second interception, by the way, for the Bombers this season.
Yeah, I'm wondering about the ball was, I don't think, anywhere near catchable.
Saw the contact made between Moxie and Hardy. So Winnipeg football, as the Bombers dodged some trouble again. Twice, goal to go for Ottawa and no points on the board. They had the stand and then the pick in the end zone, and Drew Brown back out.
Yeah, I thought Coach Lapo at halftime made a good point about Drew Brown, saying, you know, all this stuff between he and Jake Mayer, and again, we've already said that there's great mutual respect, so it's not about the two of them necessarily. Right. But he's got to put that all behind him and now just start to execute the offense.
So after the Oliveira pickup, Brown throwing, up high, and couldn't come down with it. That was for Tommy Neal. That was up around midfield, but instead of 2 and out, and Winnipeg will have to punt. But the Bombers down 10. It could have been a whole lot worse given the way the Red Blacks have started the second half.
Yeah, Tommy Neal coming into this game had not had one of those 30-plus yard receptions. Excuse me, that guy right there. And that would have got him one.
3rd straight 2 and out for the Bombers, and that's 6 straight incompletions for Drew Brown. Jamison Sheehan has to punt it away to Pimpleton, coming up to his 30 to take it. Khalil Pimpleton to the 40, and then pushed out of bounds there by Tanner Cadwallader and Michael Ayers after a 47-yard punt. Willie Jefferson already had a knockdown earlier in this game. Going to talk more about him coming up here in the CFL on TSN in Ottawa.
Some, of course, impressive numbers from Willie Jefferson. Tell me if you've ever heard that name before in the CFL. And he's actually already tied his sack total from last season at this point into week 7 of this year. And the funny thing is, when talking to head coach Mike O'Shea about that number and about that stat, he said Willie Jefferson could have 0 sacks this season and he'd still be the most dominant defensive lineman in this league. Now, of course, there's the addition of Jake Ceresna this year on that D-line that's helped. He's tied for the league lead in sacks with 4. But you guys talked about the CFL rookie David Reese, who's finding himself making an impact on that D-line. And I think it helps playing with a Willie Jefferson. But Jefferson gave it right back, and he said it's these young guys that are keeping him feeling young. And he said, I just want to show them what it takes to be great in this league.
And he certainly is capable of showing what it takes, Brett. We've seen that time and again. Daniel Adeboye in at running back again for the Red Blacks. They have the ball back. Adeboye is the ball carrier, too, as he gets it up to the 45 on that 1st and 10 and a 5-yard pickup.
There's been some defensive statements made at different times in this game. It may just be the best game so far that the Ottawa defense has played all year. But I've seen a huge improvement in the Bomber run defense in this game.
They've tackled very well, especially in the first half with that guy, Tony Jones.
And then the goal line stand.
And, of course, the stand as well. Kyrie Wilson helping finish that off on 3rd down 2. 2nd and 5. Throwing quickly. Keelan White has it. And a 1st down 2. And that's up across the Ottawa 50. Closer to midfield. Taken down by Diedrich Nichols.
Now, I don't want to say Tyson Philpott and make any comparisons here, but I think Keelan White, and I know his family well. I know his father. I was a teammate with Richard in both SFU and Saskatchewan. And I did a speaking engagement with young Keelan in this past offseason. He's a great, smart young kid with a huge upside.
One of the top draft picks in 25, Keelan White. 2nd year out of Montana. Greg Bell, the running back in. He keeps on working to get a first down on the ground for the Red Blacks. 15 yards and into the Bombers zone.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you're running back and you get that 20 carries, it's the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th that you really get going. That's when you add those yards. That's when you get to 100. And all of a sudden, Greg Bell is starting to feel it. That's a couple of runs in the last 2 series.
9 carries now, 37 yards. And he's got it again. And adding to those totals, he's running better. He's having more success here in the second half as he gets near another first down. It is indeed the sticks move again for Ottawa.
Yeah, and that's that jump cut. And that's what I mean about understanding how the blocks are set up, getting into a rhythm with your offensive line, and then nice jump cut there with a puller coming around the edge.
And a gain of 12 more yards down to the 32 of Winnipeg. They rotate them out. Bell out, Adeboboye back in. More success in the ground, sticking to it, Adeboboye. Trying to strike a balance here between these two as he spins and picks up a few more yards. Second down coming up.
Another former Toronto Argonaut pick, actually, Adeboboye.
Played for Ryan Dinwiddie. Won a Grey Cup with Dinwiddie.
Yep.
The Argos.
Last year, outstanding Canadian nominee for Ottawa. And I think could be a feature back in the league given the opportunity.
He got 4 at 2nd and 6. Winnipeg 28. Here comes Ottawa again. Pressure coming. Mayer quickly away. It's caught and then turning around and cutting it back up is Khalil Pimpleton. Great work by Pimpleton. And the Red Blacks are getting close again, undaunted, despite being denied in goal-to-goal in the previous 2 possessions.
Well, you've got finally an answer. If you're Ottawa, you've got an answer to the blitz and the pickup and the man-to-man, even when Evan Holmes is the guy covering. Even when it's Evan Holmes, the guy covering. You see the blitz coming. Mayer found an answer.
Got a 16-yard pickup. Good work after the catch by Pimpleton. So knocking on the door again. Back to Bell, and this time nothing. Bombers stiffen up against the run there as Reese is in and Fletcher too, and by committee, nothing doing there.
This is where there's that invisible glass wall for both offenses that is so tough to get through.
4th straight drive to the red zone, though, for Ottawa, but the last 2 ended up in turnovers. The first one, of course, at the end of the first half, they got their only touchdown. They have a 19-9 lead.
Here they come.
Pressure's coming. Here's the blitz. Here's Mayer to the right. Down to the goal line for an Ottawa touchdown. And this time, they do find the end zone.
It's such a chess match between coordinators, and Jordan Younger on defense has run this blitz down in this area now 4 or 5 times. A couple of times it was incomplete. There was the 1 penalty, and now they've found an answer, Ottawa has, and it's this quick out because Evan Holm has to play inside leverage. Stop it right here. You're not even going to see the guy covering Hardy just yet because he's playing so hard on the inside. Actually, it's Dietrich Nichols on that side of the field, but you got inside leverage that you have to play when you're playing full blitz and 0 coverage behind it.
And Brett Lawther with the point after. So for Justin Hardy, his 3rd touchdown of the season, and we already showed you he moved into 3rd all-time in Ottawa football history in receptions. That's a big one too. Red Blacks are dominating this game. They don't have as many points to show for it as they'd like, but that was 8 plays, 70 yards in 4:44 of time. And now it's a 26-9 lead.
2 keys in this blitz pickup is one for this guy right here to recognize it is coming again. Now they may be in show, they're not, they're going. So it's a full blitz. So now he's got to get it out of his hands, and Hardy can't just run a lazy double move out. He's got to get there. It's got to be a speed cut because now it's a timing issue. There's going to be a free hitter defensively. If that free hitter gets home and Hardy's not out of his break, it's an incomplete pass or worse. So well executed. on about the 4th or 5th time we've seen that exact same blitz look and man-to-man behind it. 0, by the way, meaning no safety in the middle. Your man-to-man coverage across the board.
Whatever happens from here on in, this is certainly the best the Ottawa Redblacks have looked this season in game number 6. Offense looking sharp. And yeah, we haven't even factored in the goal to go at the 1 denied and the goal to go at the 10. Back-to-back drives where they didn't get any points out of it. They have a 17-point lead right now late in the 3rd quarter. With Lother in the kickoff, heading down for Bammel, the 30. Cuts it back and a good tackle. Special teamer Lucas Cormier is the one to wrap him up the legs right at the 36. Let's have another look at that Redblacks touchdown drive.
Yeah, I think the key may be, as I believe the panel talked about, Keelan might got to start it, but the Greg Bell touches in this drive to just start getting the defensive front 7 for Winnipeg to start thinking again about him. And then Pimpleton on the outside. Again, another blitz pickup. And back-to-back full blitzes. And that's Jake Mayer saying to Ryan Dinwiddie, you saw it, you called it, we prepared for it, and we executed.
There's Drew Brown over the middle there and completes one. Up near midfield or past it for Nick Dembski. And a good response in one play for a 25-yard pickup Winnipeg.
Yeah, if you're Drew Brown now, you got to start taking some more, a little bit of risk and reward here and start pushing the ball a little bit. Not just because of the clock, but because Ottawa's defense is clamped down on these guys right now.
Winnipeg's offense trying to wake up. Brown again. Another completion. Pokey Wilson turns it up, gets the first down. Down to the 35 of the Redblacks. So a quick response looming here after a 12-yard gain.
Look at this timing on the out. Now that's a zone look, so different than the opposite end that we just saw in the Hardy touchdown.
Should be the last play of the 3rd quarter now. Taking the handoff to Oliveira and wide open and caught. Tim White. The touchdown catch from Drew Brown last week and has a first down there after a 19-yard pickup. For the most part, that quarter belonged to Jake Mayer and the Redblacks offense, but denied as well at goal to go. And yes, they have the 17-point lead, but Winnipeg waking up as the 4th quarter is coming up in scoring position now in the Ottawa zone. The 3-quarter stats in Ottawa. Now, the Redblacks wanting to hang on to get their first win of the season, but we know, Glenn, with this much time left, despite those numbers and Winnipeg pressing now, it's far from a done deal.
Well, Montreal and Calgary is a good lesson right there. It stamps up 22. They end up tying that game late. Yeah, let's buckle up because it's far from over, especially with a team that was 0-5 coming into this game tonight, because self-doubt can jump back in there very quickly. So Drew Brown, nice drive to answer that touchdown. Down inside the 20 now. If he caps this drive off with the major, that's when Ottawa's bench starts to wonder. And maybe they start squeezing the stick a little tighter.
Especially since they had that 1st and goal at the 1. And it was a goal line stand, and then they had goal to go the next time. It was intercepted. 2 turnovers. They come up with nothing there, and Winnipeg's looking for something here. And off to the left, it's caught. Dante Daniels, and a flag coming out as he falls back inside the 5. Be enough for a first and a goal to go coming up here for Winnipeg. We'll see what the flag's about.
This is a new trend. I keep talking about it. It's a new trend. Dante Daniels, and I'm knocking on wood here, but if there was any injuries in the O-line, Daniels has got to understand that he might be called. If it's anything like Hamilton last night.
You saw Max Mang in there playing guard for the Hamilton Tiger Cats in their victory over the Argos. We're still sorting out what the penalty is here.
Not sure what this flag is because the tackle looked fine and clean. It was just a low sort of Was there a hit on Drew Brown or something? No. He looks clean. Oh, I see.
Is it the Tommy Neal block?
Yeah. Tommy Neal, you can't come back towards your own line of scrimmage, towards your offense, make a blindside block.
Deontay Ruffin of the Red Blacks, the one hit by Neal right there.
Yeah, that's illegal.
So, yeah, they had been, and it looked like
2 fouls against Winnipeg. Procedure, they're both against number 83, procedure and blindside block. We'll go back 20 yards and we'll replay first down.
as explained by Ben Majors. So bad break there for the Blue Bombers, who looked like they were about to get into goal to go, but instead they're pushed way back to the Ottawa 36 and a first down.
Yeah, Tommy Neal's just got to flush that play. Flush it and move on. Pretty important catch in last year's West Final.
It was the winning catch. And a big one in the Grey Cup as well, with Saskatchewan in that victory. First year with Winnipeg, but long way to go now on that first down play, and that'll certainly help the Red Blacks cause. It's Joey Corcoran with his first catch of this game. The second-year Blue Bomber. He picks up 5, but it's still a long way to go. They have to get down to the Ottawa 6 to get a first down.
Yeah, field goal's important here too, though. So Drew Brown doesn't have to get too crazy and try and force one into coverage here.
Sergio Castillo is 3 for 3 in the night. Those field goals in the first half. But before we think of that, it's a second and very long 25 yards the Winnipeg needs. Here's Brown looking to unload. Flushed out. Gets rid of it. Down into the end zone, close, but knocked away. Knocked away by the Red Blacks to prevent a touchdown there. That's Lucas Cormier coming in to make that play.
Cormier makes the play at that end on Dembski. You'll see his route. They drop him off. This is scramble rules now. Find an open spot. But I'm wondering if Drew Brown could have run for at least close to the first down. It looked like he had an open side there, but there was a defensive lineman chasing him.
What a great play, though, by Cormier. Low snap on the field goal, but it's put down nicely, and it's put through again as Castillo goes 4 for 4. So, yes, they cut into the lead. They cut it down to 14 points, 2 touchdowns behind after that Castillo 3. Cormier, though, saves the day for Ottawa. World Cup coming to an end today. MLSO in midseason form. TFC and the New England Revolution. That's coming up Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time. That's right here on TSN. And we are in the end now. Week 7 on a Sunday night in Ottawa. And a field goal by Winnipeg to make it a 14-point Red-Black lead. Back with the football, and Greg Bell, who's been running much better in this second half, picks up at 4 more yards now, and a 2nd and 6 coming up.
Yeah, I would suggest maybe one of the best games for Greg Bell this season. One of the best games for the Ottawa defense this season. But this is a big second down. Field goal makes a 2-possession game for Drew Brown. He's buckling up, expecting his defense to come up big here.
On that touchdown pass by Mayer to Hardy, that put him over 300 for the night. 23 of 28 for 305. And throwing here, if he can get it away, he steps up. Will he take off? Tyree Wilson wraps him, takes him down, and a flag is out as well.
That play took a little bit too long to develop, and probably will be a holding. But first down was not gained by Mayer.
Holding Ottawa number 68. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll replay second down.
But they do take the penalty, even though you're right. It would have been a 3rd down and a few yards away. Push him further back.
That's Jake Serezna in the bull rush.
So back to the 34 now, and a 2nd and 16. Red Blacks 26, Bombers 12. 4th quarter now. A little over 12 minutes to go. Underneath, caught by Eberhard. He just does was a spinorama as both Jones and Cramdy are involved in that. But a gain of only 7 for number 7 there, and Ottawa will have to punt it away.
Tony Jones, Kyrie Wilson, and Reda Cramdy are having themselves a night. I mean, when drives have been snuffed out by the Winnipeg defense, it's because of those 3 guys most of the time. Cramdy's made some good plays on the run, too.
So first 2 and out for Ottawa, and first official punt now. Remember when Noah Getman punted in the first half, there was a flag against Winnipeg, and the drive continued. So here's Trey Babel going to his left, picks up a block across the 40, and is hauled down a little bit past that point in time. The special teams unit of the Red Blacks, Drew Brown, coming on now against his old team, with some work to do here and 2 touchdowns behind.
One of my favorite moments in that game last week was Trey Babel when he fumbled, got a couple of guys, his teammates lift him up on the bench like Patty Neufeld, and then went 129, the redemption run on the missed field goal. Just great drama in that 5 minutes of football.
That was incredible, especially when you consider Hiralahu had made the field goal, but Mike O'Shea had to call a timeout.
Yes.
And then the next time he missed it, and Babel brought it back. What a swing for Winnipeg. Here's Brown. Open receiver, too. He's got White. Down inside the 45, approaching the 40. And a big first down for Winnipeg.
Biggie to get the drive started. Drew Brown's that risk-reward ledger is now pushing more to the risk part of it. See the 3 or 4 defenders right there, but Tim White comes up with it.
Just outside the 40 now. 25-yard pickup. Still plenty of time for Winnipeg to get back into this game. Already field goal range for Castillo and Brady Oliveira. A quieter night by his standards as he picks up a few more yards, works it down to the 36, 37-yard line of Ottawa.
One thing that Drew Brown can do to help Brady Oliveira here is to pull it at least once. You know, just plant the seed in the D-line's head that you may pull it. Because when he runs those RPOs, he's given it to Brady Oliveira most of the time.
Oliveira just with 6 carries for 26 yards. That's it. Brown throwing again, and it's caught too. That's the big tight end, Dante Daniels, who had one earlier that got negated by a penalty. Well, that's enough for a first down for Winnipeg.
Spotlight on the big man. Good. That's playing from the shoulders up on that play. Recognize the defense. Sit down.
Don't mind the higher throw either when you get a target like that.
That's a big boy.
Put it where only he can get it. First down.
6'6", 270. And can run.
That'll help. Down to the 30. First and 10 Winnipeg. Brown to throw again. Stands in with time over the middle and down near the 10. Caught again by Tim White. And Brown and Winnipeg have something going here. Another 20-yard pickup for that Winnipeg offense.
Yeah, Tim White, he's got a couple of these now, which is just the bender coming in behind the linebackers and the deep road. He's got the clear out through the middle from Nick Dembski, and then there's the bender in behind the linebackers.
The video official just changed the spot. It's first down at the 11.
Initially, they had it at the 10, would have been goal to go. So it is a first and 10 at the 11-yard line and call it a 19-yard gain where they spot the football. And Tim White, 5 catches, 76 yards as Winnipeg again getting close. Wanting to finally find the end zone. That toss to Michael Chris Ike to the right. Big fullback hit by Michael Wakefield after he picks up but 4 or 5 more yards for the Bombers.
Now they can or they can't get a first down. They can.
Got to get down to the 1.
Yep.
In this case, they are down inside the 8. Halfway through the 4th quarter. Big second down here, Winnipeg. Brown steps up with time. And the Blue Bombers are back within a score on their first touchdown of the night.
When the quarterback draws up in the pocket here, he starts to climb the pocket like Drew Brown does on this play. The DBs and linebackers are in a bind. If you stop it right here, DBs coming up, linebackers coming up, out of coverage because they think, well, if we don't, he's just going to run in. That's how that opens up in behind you in a hurry.
And the point after from Castillo. So finally, Winnipeg with a major score to make this that much more interesting on the second touchdown of the season for Nick Dembski. From Drew Brown, 26-19. Ottawa still ahead.
Drew Brown climbs the pocket and finds Nick Dembski. And this is what I mean about a DB. You see how any underneath coverage is now chasing after Drew Brown because he climbed up. And all he has to understand is where the line of scrimmage is. When Brown comes up the field here, where's the line of scrimmage? As long as I don't cross over that, we got to play.
We get a driving kickoff here that goes out of bounds, and a flag comes out against Winnipeg and Castillo.
Illegal kickoff out of bounds. Winnipeg, number 14. It's going to be first down for Ottawa.
And it's going to help out the Red Blacks in their starting position after that 6-play, 65-yard drive by the Bombers to get this within 7 points.
Yeah, Jake Maier needs to settle things down, give his defense a rest, and put together 2 or 3 first downs.
And with that penalty, they'll scrimmage at the Ottawa 50. Drew Brown back in the nation's capital, which was home for 2 years till he was traded away less than a month ago. Coming back, starting for Winnipeg. And we got a ball game now at 26-19. Under 7 minutes to go. Little toss there to Picklen on the sweep. Looking for the edge on Evan Holm. And he gets up to about the 53. So not much. Still second and long coming up here for Ottawa.
Really good block right at the point of attack from Gino Lewis. Go ahead and run it, guys. Is this going to be sort of the fake underneath and then Pimpleton around the edge? But they need to get the edge, and they didn't from the pursuit. Evan Holm can close better than any DB in the league.
And turned it back inside, so limiting the gain. 3 yards, 2nd and 7. 6:15 on the clock at a 7-point lead. 4-man rush, pressure on Maier, and they've got him, and a flag comes out late. The heat coming from Jake Serezna. On that 4-man rush, the Winnipeg D-line, and the flag and the punting unit is coming on here for the Red Blacks.
Ottawa number 61.
It'll be declined.
Will decline the penalty. It's going to be third down.
Willie Jefferson and Jake Serezna.
Well, when he talked to Britt, he said how much Serezna has helped. And when you see this twist in the middle, sometimes they'll put Willie Jefferson, take him off that DN position and put him in the middle. He gets a matchup on a different player, a center or a guard, and that little twist up front between Jake Serezna and Willie Jefferson works like it's drawn up on the board.
I don't know with the stats if they share that one, but Serezna came in with 4 to lead the way, and Jefferson had 3. And they team up to take down Maier, and they're going to be getting the ball back now. Noah Getman finally punted for the first time just recently. Only did it once in the first half, and that was a penalty against Winnipeg. It extended the drive. Momentum swinging in this ball game in favor of Winnipeg. Some tension here in the nation's capital. The Red Blacks are trying to hang on to get win number 1.
Sideline, sideline, sideline. What's away, Reeve?
Here's Getman. Getting rid of it at his 35. And it sails out of bounds in the air.
It's a penalty.
And that's a penalty. If it does that outside the 15, it would be a penalty if it goes out of bounds in the air. Winnipeg defense. Yeah, flag out. put the Bombers in better shape with the ball back. Drew Brown. Interesting stat here in the history of the Ottawa Redblacks. You got Trevor Harris with 21 wins, Henry Burris with 18. Drew Brown is third. I'm trying to make sure Ottawa doesn't pick up a victory tonight.
Lots of chat on social about the quarterback situation in Ottawa since Trevor Harris left.
After the 2018 season.
Was it 13 or so quarterbacks that have played since then, and they've only had one winning season since then.
And that was with Drew Brown 2 years ago. They went to the playoffs against Ryan Dinwiddie in the Argos. There's Brown again, nearly intercepted. Shakur Brown with another chance on Drew Brown, and just can't find the handle on that one.
Yeah, went to the well with that bender route one too many times, and Brown had a beat on it. He did everything but catch it. He was coming from a long way away, ready to time up his jump on the throw, and he just dropped it.
Well, a break for Drew Brown and the Bombers there as they keep the ball. They're at their 42. They're down 7 points. 5:11 on the clock. Second down and 10. Some heat coming, and down he goes. Brown down. A.J. Allen coming over from the Saskatchewan Roughriders and making a huge defensive play for Ottawa.
Well, probably his biggest of the season for the Ottawa Redblacks so far this year. He had 21 tackles coming in and also registered an interception. But that one, with the momentum shifting the way it had for Winnipeg, was big.
Allen coming through in the blitz. Here's Pimpleton now in the return on the Jamison Sheehan punt as he gets swarmed and down around the 36 after a 57-yard punt by Jamison Sheehan. A.J. Allen, one of the many additions in free agency. They're one of the changes the Redblacks made. Some other Rough Riders coming over as well. Of course, C.J. Rivas, Brett Lother, but also Haba Baldonado is injured and out of this game.
And Jake Mayer, and you got to believe that that's a little celebration for Jaden Dahlke.
A tribute to his friend and former teammate Jaden Dahlke, who tragically passed away in a car accident last night. The run there by Bell. The momentum shifting back towards Ottawa, and a first down carry for the Redblacks.
Good line play up front. That's the big boys driving.
Ottawa has run the ball better in this second half and still hanging on to this lead. Love to at least make it a 2-score game again as we work it down. 3.5 minutes to go, but that time nothing. Michael Ayers is there to stuff up the run, and Bell right at the 50, and like a timeout being called
for Winnipeg.
Getting that timeout in before the 3-minute warning.
Yep. Use it or lose it, and get the timeout. Make sure on this crucial second and long, you've got the right defense with the right personnel. Get the ball back in his hands, and now these are the moments that good teams find a way. Teams that have been struggling continue to struggle. Let's see if Ottawa can change that. I mean, pressure more on them in this moment, even though they have the lead, if that makes any sense.
It does. I'm sure they're feeling it. Just given the circumstances coming in, desperately needing a victory. Second and 10. Ottawa 50. Some pressure and coming back to the football and hit right away. It's incomplete. That was Moxie. And the coverage there for Winnipeg and timed it up perfectly.
Yeah, he did. He's made a couple plays tonight. Can add him to this defensive effort for the Bombers, and he steps up. Nice drive downhill on the football. I don't think Pimpleton had it long enough to make that a catch and fumble. They blew it dead immediately.
Getman standing at the 35. One-score game, heading down to the 3-minute warning as it is whistled down there now.
3-minute timeout.
Ottawa trying to hang on. They're about to send the ball back to Winnipeg, looking for the comeback. Can the Red Blacks finally get win number 1? Look at Week 8 in the CFL, starting with a battle for first in the West with the Elks and the Riders. Friday Night Football, Stamps, Bombers, Argos taking on the BC Lions, and the Ticats coming off a win against Montreal. But it starts in the Thursday night at Mosaic Suits, and what is bound to be an extraordinarily emotional night, and just the heartbreaking news today. The death of one of the Rough Riders defensive players, Jayden Dalkey, killed in a car accident last night.
Our condolences to Ryan and Shannon and the rest of the Dalkey family and all the friends and teammates, and that's going to be tough.
Very.
And what a tragic, heartbreaking.
To them, to the family, of course, and the friends, and the Riders as well. And what a difficult time for the Saskatchewan Rough Rider Football Club.
Just awful. Well, this is what you want as a quarterback.
Drew Brown.
You want 2 minutes left, the ball in your hands, and a chance to go tie the game.
And a chance of revenge. I mean, he wasn't shying away from it. He'd love revenge against his old team. Has a chance after 3 minutes. Down to score. Knocked away. Tim White. And looking around for a call on that tight coverage by the safety Alonzo Adai. Incomplete.
I don't think that Michael O'Shea is going to throw the challenge flag here. Not because he saw it cleanly or whatever. He just saw Tim White, who's in the slot back spot and running a bender on his own. Well, now he might challenge that because it looked like he was early.
Looked like Adai did arrive early there on Tim White. And the discussion with Ben Major with that challenge flag out.
I'm not sure that he's. I'm not sure
Winnipeg
he's
is challenging the last play. They believe there should have been a defensive pass interference. The play will be reviewed.
I'm not sure that Michael O'Shea. You know how players have a signal, and many of them, especially receivers, who think they're open all night, whether they are or they're not, they'll get up and they'll motion immediately. And Tim White did that. You see, he gets up. He wants to give the signal to his coach. Look, this was PI. And then O'Shea is not going to be, I don't think, influenced much by that. But what he will be is what he hears on the replay when they see it. And was the contact early? And he throws the flag.
So the replay center looking at this. Was this pass interference? Here's the ruling.
Upon further review, the ruling on the field is overturned. We have defensive pass interference, Ottawa number 20. It's going to be first down for Winnipeg at the spot of the foul.
Yeah, so the spotters upstairs took a quick look at it, and the guy's contact was early. So O'Shea throws a challenge flag.
And a smile of frustration for Ryan Dinwiddie as his Red Blacks are just trying to hang on and get in the win column. Up by a touchdown, but these 2:47, these final seconds must feel like an eternity for Ottawa. As Brown, their old quarterback, has the ball, and in behind, Pokey Wilson coming in. Little mix-up as that falls incomplete.
I think Pokey Wilson just slipped on it. Was to put the brakes on and come back and lose his footing.
Up at the Winnipeg 48. Jake Mayer off on the side and just watching. His old teammate goes to work there. Brown. And it's complete too. In the Ottawa zone. Down to the Red Black 46. It's Tim White. Drive continues after a gain of 16.
Boy, we've been calling Tim White's name a bunch in the last couple of series for Winnipeg. They found something, a hole in this defense on those bender routes to get him open. And there's a crowd around him every single time, but they're not getting there.
2:29 and counting for Brown. Again, caught again in behind, right at the 30. Tommy Neal with it. Another first down for Winnipeg.
Nick Dembski flies through this as a decoy. He's out here, and he's going to just absolutely put the burners on to try to pull coverage with him. And the only reason he's doing that, he knows he's the decoy. He's trying to hold the safety, Alonzo Adai. There goes Dembski. He holds the safety. His teammates open.
16 more yards down to the 30 and a first down. Quickly again, knocked at the line, but still caught by Wilson, who picked up 5 yards in his furthest advancement there, down to the 25. Someone got their hands up at the line. So they hurry up. A second down and 5. Needing 7 points to tie this ball game. Under 2 minutes to go. 4-man pressure underneath, and it's caught by Tommy Neal again for a first down as they get closer to that Ottawa end zone.
Another combination route between Dembski and Tommy Neal. This time from the other side of the formation, and not the deep ball, but Dembski's right on this part of your screen. He's going to be the decoy so that Tommy Neal can flash open over the middle.
Down approaching the 10 now. A 1st and 10, Winnipeg. Excruciating on the Red Black sideline. And a great sense of hope for Collaros and the Bombers on the other side of the field. Here we go with Brown. Pressure coming. Quickly gets rid of it. It's caught by White. Down near the 5. Shy of a first down, but still a good pickup on first. A 2nd and short is coming up here for Winnipeg.
Little safety or secondary blitz coming from Ottawa there. Picked up nicely by Drew Brown.
Still plenty of time in the clock here in the 4th quarter. 1:15 counting down just outside the 5 and a 2nd and 4. Drew Brown trying to execute this comeback. Looks to the end zone. And it is caught by Wilson. Shakur Brown says no. And it is waved down as an incomplete pass.
Wilson thinks he caught it.
Looked like he caught it initially, and they would have 1st and goal here.
Maybe even a touchdown.
The previous play is under automatic review by the replay center.
So the question is, it is a catch. It's just, is it a touchdown?
You saw the ball underneath his. That looks like a catch from that angle.
It does look like a catch. It looks more like the issue. It's either 1st and goal or a touchdown Winnipeg. If he had possession, breaking the plane of the goal line.
They ruled it a catch.
Brown waving off like it wasn't a catch.
Well, the sideline official down here waved it off. I saw him live wave it off.
He called it incomplete.
But it looked like when they chatted, they ruled it a catch because that's where they're lined up right now on the 1-yard line. So if they've ruled it a catch, then did he score with this? Did the ball cross the plane under control?
It doesn't look like it did. It initially did cross the plane, but you're right. Did he have control of the football? Definitely a catch. And over a minute to go and a 1st and goal at the very least.
Now you know Jake Mayer is looking at the clock down on the 1-yard line saying, if they do finish this drive, give me 45, 50 seconds. Get in field goal range.
Here's the ruling.
Upon automatic review by the replay center, the ruling on the field is overturned. We have a touchdown for Winnipeg.
Touchdown Bombers. Brown to Pokey Wilson. A point after from tying this ball game.
Now, we've seen a goal line stand in 3 separate plays by the Bomber defense. It's possible, but this might be the best scenario for Ottawa in that they're going to tie this football game with this extra point. Because time on the clock changes now. That would have been if they're on the 1-yard line. They're going to eat up another 20, 30 seconds.
For all the kicks at Castillo tonight, there have been many. That's the most important one. The point after to make it 26, 1:03 in the clock for Jake Maier, as the REDBLACKS hope they have enough time to work it down and get the winning points in this game before they need overtime.
Minute 3 is plenty. Depends on the return is going to be a big part of the equation here. And then that Winnipeg defense that has played a very good game just you know, throughout this game. They had the goal line stand, good against the run for most of it.
17 unanswered points for the Blue Bombers. You have to think, if Ottawa does not win this game tonight, they'll be wondering what might have been to start the second half when they twice had goal to go, when they had it at the 1 and couldn't punch it in, and then another time when there was an interception.
Yeah, no question. And this quarterback duo, who gets the final say? Who gets the final word here? The duel has gone back and forth. They don't play, obviously, against each other on the field. But, boy, this game...
But that was the story.
For more reason, yeah, absolutely.
As you put it well, Drew Brown wants to prove him wrong. Jake Maier wants to prove Ryan Dinwiddie right.
Got a minute. He's got a minute to do it.
And here's Dinwiddie. Good coverage.
Wow.
That team's down to the 26. That's Michael Ayers. Always one of their special teams tackles leaders, with a big one there to make sure Pimpleton didn't move it any further upfield.
Yeah, and this won't be a big thing on the stat sheet, but this is a monster play, and this is what good teams do. Teams that know how to win, that know how to finish. That play to limit the field position on the opening kickoff, big.
There's a REDBLACKS player down on the field on that kickoff return play, but yeah, how about Michael Ayers, consistently one of the top special teamers in the CFL.
Well, most returns are getting out around the 35 for sure. It's a lot of times with these great returners, we're talking 45 and even pushing to midfield. So, you know, it's a very different scenario when you got to make 2 throws to get in field goal range in a minute than to drive the field for field goal range.
Brett Lother's career high is 59 yards, which would put them down to the 48-yard line roughly. 48 that'd be about midfield, but less than that. They could even outside the 50 if you go by his longest. But Lother's longest this season is 51.
I would say you need 4 first downs.
Right now they're at the 27. That's where the ball is spotted. 59 seconds on the clock. The injured player is Benjamin Dobson, the rookie for the REDBLACKS, heading off.
I mean, 4 first downs of yardage. So you're going to need a chunk play. You don't have time to run your offense for 4 first downs. You need a chunk play here at some point. How about 87?
Jake Maier quickly off to the left. Coffin, not much there. Reddick Cramdy in again on Pimpleton.
Well, he's had a night.
Has he ever? Limited gain. 2nd and long.
Well, Reddick Cramdy played in that Sam position the last couple of years and then moved to safety. Now they can rotate them back and forth. Great flexibility for Jordan Younger. Big down here.
From the Ottawa 29 and a 2nd and 8. Will we have overtime? 35 seconds. Maier airing it out. Down the rail. Coverage is there, and it's knocked away. Jake Kelly along with Major Williams on Geno Lewis. It was Kelly who had the interception earlier in the half to deny a touchdown for Ottawa or any points on the board, and makes a play there as well.
Yeah, basically a cover 2-man concept here with Major Williams playing man-to-man underneath, but he knows he's got a guy over the top in Jake Kelly to help. There's 2 deep defenders helping on any deep ball, and man-to-man underneath. Tough to get a throw in there.
And now the Red Blacks would be hoping for overtime. Still half a minute to go. And Noah Getman to be punting it away. So depending on what happens on the return, could Winnipeg have a chance to win this in regulation? Trey Vavel, you know what he can do. Needs a big return here. And again, good special teams work. That's former Blue Bomber Brian Cole after a 65-yard punt by Noah Getman. So 19 seconds left, and now it's the Bombers with a long way to go if they're going to get in range of a field goal to win it.
Nick Demski offensively has been a decoy on that last series. 3 or 4 plays, a couple of them to Tim White, a couple of them to Tommy Neal. I'm surprised if now Drew Brown tries to see if he can sink one into number 10.
Drew Brown, 18 seconds. Short pass, and the hit by Casey on Oliveira, and the ball falls to the turf. Incomplete, 2nd and 10, 13 to go. Looking more and more like overtime is looming. What a night here in Ottawa. In the 200th career game as a head coach for Mike O'Shea up against Ryan Dinwiddie. Trying to end the winless start for the Red Blacks in 2026. Not over yet. Just a running play. Playing for OT.
Yep. On the road, just came back from 2 scores down. 14-point deficit eaten up. On the road. Basically got some momentum. Play for overtime because you don't want to make a mistake and a turnover down here.
Drew Brown in this game did have a rough patch, especially to start the second half. His numbers now, though, 23 of 36 for 281 and a couple of touchdown passes here in this second half to lead Winnipeg back. As the clock hits zeros, and that's it for regulation time. They will play on. We know we're going to have a winner. We still don't know who yet. Here at TD Place in Ottawa. Not done. 26-26.
You know, when you look at this fourth quarter, it really slants in the way of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That was an interesting. They had a penalty on that play and decided to, take the 3 points, made it a 4-point game. Still 2 possessions, or 14-point game, 2 possessions, and then Drew Brown with 2 good drives. Finish it off with a couple of touchdowns, and it's a tie game. And think about the 2 and the importance of these 2 quarterbacks.
Some words from his friend and in many ways mentor, Zach Collaros. Injured, put on the 6th game earlier this week, but here to help out and settle Drew Brown, who really come on here later in the second half to lead his team back.
And Zach can come off the 6th game early.
It's Ben Major with the coin toss.
All right, guys, overtime, okay? Same coin as before. The Canada Gold logo is heads. The Ottawa logo is tails. It's your choice. Heads is a call, okay? Heads. It's a heads. You want to start on defense first? Which side of the field do you want to start? So Ottawa, first down over there.
So always the call, take defense first and see what you need as we look at the overtime rules, which of course have been amended. No more ties. They'll just keep playing, but it's still a maximum of the 2 mini games, each team scrimmaging from the opposing 35 and trying to score after a touchdown. Teams have to go for 2. If it's still tied, though, this is the difference. After the mini games, no tie. Alternating 2-point converts will be attempted until there is a winner. Will it be sweet revenge for Drew Brown? Or will it be win number 1 for Ryan Dinwiddie and the Ottawa Redblacks? And Jake Mayer, 25 of 32, 314, a touchdown pass, 1 pick. Is that a good night? It's overtime now. opening mini game for the 35. Four-man rush, throwing to the right, and right near the first down marker to Gino Lewis with Jonathan Moxey there. Very close. The first down for Ottawa.
That was a formation where Jake Maier had 4 receivers into the boundary in the short side, and he put Gino Lewis by himself. And look at the space that Lewis has on Moxey. Moxey not letting him in any way get behind him on a deep ball. Jake Maier takes the out.
10 yards, first down. That's at the Winnipeg 25.
Moxey's tightening up now a little bit more. Excuse me, it's
Major Williams
Williams at the top there.
Goes left and staying in bounds. Keelan White looks like, another first down. 13-yard pickup there as Ottawa moves closer.
Yeah, that's a big one. It was a wide field, so it's Major Williams out there on that side, and he tightened up on Gino Lewis. So what does Jake Maier do? He goes right back to the opposite side of the field to Keelan White. 2 for 2 in this first mini game.
The video official has reviewed the spot. It's going to be first down at the 15-yard line.
So it is a first down, but they're saying it was a 10-yard pickup by Keelan White. They reviewed that, so there they are at the 15. They can get to the end zone, but a lot of pressure on Winnipeg to do the same. Underneath, caught down at the 10. And that's White again.
This is right where Jordan Younger throughout this game has sent that pressure package. And when he sent the pressure package early in the game, it caused problems for Jake Maier. Then in the fourth quarter, he had the touchdown to Hardy off the pressure. What does he come with here?
He started at the 35, got 10 to the 25, 10 more to the 15, and 5 now to the 10-yard line and a 2nd and 5. Trying to escape, rolls way back, and there's to throw it away, and the closest one to it is Bell, who got a hand on it, but incomplete. 3rd down and 5 coming up here for Ottawa, and the field goal unit will come on.
So you're right. Like when you win the coin toss in overtime, you're taken to play defense first, so you know what you have. But that gives Jake Maier a chance to put pressure on Winnipeg with the major in the first set. Doesn't get it, field goal now, advantage shifts, and that's why you take defense first.
4 for 4 in the night for Brett Lothar. This one from 17 away. And the initiative is taken by Ottawa, albeit with a field goal. So a 3-point lead, and see how Winnipeg responds here when they get the ball for the first time in overtime.
Now an interception ends it. Touchdown ends it for Winnipeg.
Or will it revert back to the way this game was at the beginning, where they were just trading field goals?
And we'll go right back to the other end. Try it again.
The difference this year, though, with the rule change, there will be a winner. No more ties. Drew Brown of Winnipeg in overtime against Ottawa. And on the ground to Brady Oliveira. Breaks through. Oliveira inside the 20. Down to the 15. His biggest carry of the night at the most important time of the night.
Pokey Wilson is going to pull some of the linebackers' attention when he comes through the formation here. And then the patience of Brady Oliveira. Where's the block sets up? Where's the angle? Where am I going to cut off my offensive lineman? Right off his backside right there. And away he goes. Big run.
You know, the Bombers had loved this for Drew Brown. The ground again, and not this time, though, as Ottawa has it stuffed up for about another yard for Oliveira.
So Tim White has been the go-to guy in the fourth quarter here with Dembski and the combination routes that they've been running together.
Big second down coming up. It's a 2nd and 8. Brown could look to the end zone to win it. Could look underneath to get the first down and go first to goal, but Brown with a chance to stick it to the Red Blacks. squandering the opportunity. Pressure coming. There's a look to the end zone. One-on-one coverage and nearly ended there by Deontay Ruffin. Had he caught that ball, it would have been over. Either way, it falls incomplete. 3rd and 8. And now it's Winnipeg with a chance to tie it and keep this going.
He's been the guy. He's been the guy in the 4th quarter, Tim White, that Drew Brown has really leaned on. He's got the corner route and the one-on-one with Ruffin. Good position. Doesn't draw the penalty flag. If he catches it, it's over.
That close for the newest Ottawa Red Black, just in his debut with Ottawa. That close. So also 4 for 4 in the night. Sergio Castillo. To tie it and play on. Out, down, kicked and through. And we keep going. They trade field goals in the first mini game, and now another mini game coming up. And if it's tied after that, that's when the new wrinkle for the Canadian Football League in overtime will kick in.
Yeah, 2-point converts back and forth. You know, and when you saw last night's game, Hamilton and Toronto, rule changes coming into play there too, where a missed field goal does not give you a single point if it goes out the back of the end zone and is not played. Argos Haralahu missed. Hamilton wins. And, you know, talk about games for quarterbacks that can be career changing. I might rank that one for Trey Ford up as one of those career changing type of games. And for Jake Mayer, I think this next overtime set could be very important. I'm not talking about immediate moves, but the importance of this game can't be overstated.
They switch ends. Drew Brown now. Winnipeg starts the second mini game. Down and caught by Dembski inside the 20. Tries to turn it back. They blow the whistle. Down to about the 16. So Ottawa started the first mini game, and this time it's Winnipeg that starts, and Ottawa will get to see what they need.
Drew Brown wanted quick game there and didn't have it, so he gets outside. That's a tough throw to make.
Saying he stepped out of bounds at the 16. 1st and 10 for a 19-yard pickup for Winnipeg and Nick Dembski. Second mini game in overtime. Brown looks to the left, nearly intercepted there. Now that, of course, would not have ended it, but Shakur Brown would have given Ottawa a great chance if he could have hung on. It would have gone to the Red Blacks, who just would have needed a field goal.
Well, or if Brown takes it to the house.
Another possibility.
Yeah, he's up there in the top of your screen and he's had his hands on the ball, I want to say 3 or 4 times tonight.
The Red Blacks defenders have had their shots here in overtime. First Ruffin and then Shakur Brown.
Yeah, they have.
2nd and 10. Drew Brown, it's caught. Down near the 5.
Right,
it looks like right at the marker for Tommy Neal. It looks like another first down. It is a 1st and goal coming up, Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's heads-up play by Tommy Neal because he knows exactly where the first down marker is. He pushes his defender up and then comes right back to that marker, and Drew Brown just has to try and get it to him. There's the clear out.
Tommy Neal certainly knows big moments like this. You mentioned that West Final a year ago with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and the catch that won it got them into the Grey Cup. This is a regular season game, but a big ending here. Brady Oliveira, they stuff him up in a 1st and goal. Nicely done up front by the Ottawa defense.
Strategy now. Defensively, pressure on Drew Brown.
Aaron Casey gets some help. Luigi Villain. Casey been with the Argos last year with Ryan Dinwiddie.
They're going 4-man.
Here we go. Second and goal. Ottawa 5. Brown to the end zone. No! And nearly intercepted. It went off Neal. And Demario Houston is claiming that he caught the ball. But no, the field goal unit is coming on here for Winnipeg.
Just three-man pressure from Ottawa. So Drew Brown knows he has a little more time, and that should have been caught. Tommy Neal.
The previous play is under automatic review by the replay center.
Neal can't find the handle. Here's Houston, the ex-Bomber coming in, claims he caught it. And the call, by the way, was no catch. And they are, as Ben Major had said, automatically reviewing it.
Boy, it's hard to tell whether his hands were under it or it touched the turf there, because both hands were in position. But
upon automatic review by the replay center, the ruling on the field stands. It's incomplete pass. Third down for Winnipeg.
But I think they got it right.
I think they did too.
Yeah.
Where two things can be true. The hands were underneath, but you could see the ball clearly hitting the turf.
The middle of the ball bounces off. You saw the pebbles.
So Castillo, another field goal, and this time Winnipeg has the lead, 32-29. So we come down to the last possession of the second mini game. Jake Maier coming back on, and now Ottawa knows what it needs. A touchdown to win it. And if they don't, if they get a field goal to tie it again, then we go to alternating two-point convert tries until there is a winner. Jake Maier tosses it off to Bell, and not much there. Couple of yards, second and long.
Also important play here. Get at least one more first down to make it comfortable for a field goal attempt to keep this game alive if you're Ottawa.
Right now at the 33, it would take about a 40 for Brett Lauber to tie the game again. But we get a 2nd and 8. Maier, four-man rush again. Time, taking a shot to the end zone. No! Evan Holm in on Keelan White and breaks it up. And it's a 3rd and 8. And the field goal unit coming on for Ottawa.
And this isn't a chip shot, but this is outstanding coverage and closing ability by Evan Holm. Mentioned it earlier about 2 series ago, how quickly he can close. It may look like you're open for a second as a receiver, but he'll close that gap and get the hand in there. What a defensive play.
So Noah Getman will put it down at the 40 for Brett Lauber, who's had a perfect night, but needs another.
Right down the middle.
Absolutely perfect. Tied again at 32, and now the new part. The rule change this year in the Canadian Football League. We've seen overtime earlier, but this one is going to the 2-point tries to make sure one team walks away with a win.
So it appears that they will continue to alternate. Jake Maier is heading on the field. So do they go first in the 2-point rally? Stayed down at the end they just finished on.
New territory for the Canadian Football League. You know, we saw it last night with the missed kick by Liram Hairolau that went out the back, and what would have been a rouge, no more.
So at this point in time, we're staying at that end. We're going 2-point convert attempt after 2-point convert attempt until there's a winner. Winnipeg had the first choice. They're choosing to go on defense. Ottawa is now attempting a 2-point convert.
And if Ottawa gets it, Winnipeg will have to get it. And if Ottawa doesn't, Winnipeg will have a chance to win it. And they just keep going.
And when the rule change was made, you got to believe that these two coaches spent a lot of time in practice working on two-point converts. Not because they were going to do it a bunch in regulation, but for this exact scenario.
Under the old rules, this game would be over. It would be a tie. CFL was tired of ties. They were tired of missed kicks. Still awarding a team with a point. It's been an interesting weekend to see the change. As Ottawa's dream of getting into the win column continues now with the first two-point convert try. Jake Mayer to throw. Lofts it into the end zone. The coverage is there. Gino Lewis, though, hauls it in.
How did he catch that?
How on earth did he catch that ball?
How did he catch that?
Well, you were saying throw it to Lewis, throw it to 87. My goodness, he was well covered.
Up there at the top of your screen, it's almost a double team. Mox has got him, and Holm is closing over the top, and somehow between the two of them, he comes up with it.
That is amazing. The catch by Gino Lewis at a time when the Red Blacks needed it most.
That's my playbook. 87. Number 87 is just, that's the play.
And win number 1 could be just one play away now. Bombers need to get in the end zone or it's over. Pressure on Brown, but he does get it in. Clutch play by Drew Brown to Pokey Wilson. And we play on.
How about Drew Brown, ice in his veins, just saying, no, I am not, hey, no problem, no problem. We got our shot. We'll just go another round, and now the Bombers will go first this time. While everyone was cheering on the Ottawa bench and in the stands,
It's now Ottawa's turn.
Drew Brown just stepped back and said, no problem. Hit Wilson.
It's now Ottawa's turn to attempt the two-point convert.
Ben Major saying it's now Ottawa's turn.
So they're alternating.
They are.
I'm just again with Winnipeg starting.
But the biggest question of the night is it finally Ottawa's turn to get a win. This is a game that just won't end. A frustrated Ryan Dinwiddie.
Yeah, I think he's upset about the order. I think he wanted to put his defense out here for this next one, thinking they started the two-point convert back and forth. So do the Bombers start this time?
And with Ottawa's choice, looks like they are Winnipeg's offense now.
Okay, so that's
these are uncharted waters, right?
Their two-point convert now.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like we're figuring this thing out.
Well, he was upset about that. Went to make sure he got the attention of the officials because he wants his defense. Defense gets a stand, then they can win with a two-point convert next. If they don't, they still got a chance to go again one more round.
And remember, these are just one-play drives. You either get in the end zone or you don't. It's over. And the other team tries. In this case, Winnipeg goes first.
Then White.
End zone look. Got it again. Similar play. And in. For number 82, Gavin Cobb. What a time for his first catch of the night.
Gavin Cobb working off here, and that was a zone look from Ottawa. The two-point convert try.
So Jake Mayer comes back on.
Not sure about that one.
No, then
you gotta lock down and
wide open.
Tighten up, yeah.
Lots of space inside there. So Jake Mayer, and now the Red Blacks need to get into the end zone or it's over. And Winnipeg wins. This is tense. Here we go. Four-man rush. End zone look. Knocked away, and that's it. That is it. Sweet revenge for Drew Brown. And the losing start continues for the Ottawa Red Blacks. And you can tell by his reaction what it all means. And a big embrace and smile from Zach Collaros as Brown gets the victory.
Look at the intense look from Drew Brown. He was intense after that.
And another heartbreaking way for the Red Blacks to lose this one, the hardest of all this season.
Well, let's take a look at the play. Is it Tony Jones again? No. Cramdy. Reddick Cramdy.
What a night
One
he's
more
had.
play.
One more for Cramdy.
Keelan White tried to get him to react to outside leverage and then come back into the middle. Reddick Cramdy wasn't having it, and he makes yet another play tonight.
They played one mini game. It was still tied. They played 2 mini games. It was still tied. And then the CFL's new overtime format truly kicked in as they went for 2-point converts, tied after 1 round. But in the second one, it's the Bombers who ultimately prevailed. And as said, what it must mean to Drew Brown here back in Ottawa, standing by now with Brett Dort.
Drew, you talked a lot about emotions heading into this game. You really had to earn the win here tonight. What are you feeling in this moment?
Yeah, I'm happy that, we won the game. We didn't play very well. I didn't play very well early on, so just happy that the rest of the team played well long enough to kind of keep us in it in the end. So just happy for the guys. It was a lot of fun out there.
Heading into overtime, we saw you have a conversation with Zach Collaros. What was his message to you?
He just said, keep being you, and that's enough.
Backing up in the game, at the start of the third quarter, your defense had 2 massive stops on the Ottawa's first 2 drives. How big was that group for this team tonight?
Yeah, this team plays complementary football. It seems like they've been doing that since I was born. They talk about it all the time, but to be able to see it tonight, they didn't come to the sideline yelling at the offense that we didn't have anything going. They just kind of kept fighting until we kind of got our tires on the road. So just really excited, happy. Winning's a lot more fun than losing. So
thanks for your time, Drew. Congrats.
Thank you.
Quick thought on this. You know it meant more than he's showing right now.
Yeah, he's bubbling over, but he's trying to be a professional, and good for Drew Brown. We'll see on how Zach Collaros, how long it takes for him to get back. But until then, Drew Brown is 2-0 as a starter in Winnipeg.
After the struggles with the Red Blacks, not the start of this season, but last season when they followed things off the promising 1-24 with missing the playoffs last year. But hey, we've seen some different things this weekend, haven't we? Missed field goals that don't get a rouge, and then games where there has to be a winner and a loser, and the winner is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, coming all the way back from 17 down to deny the Ottawa Red Blacks, who fall to 0-6 to start the season, despite a good game in so many ways. Thanks for watching and have a great night. SportsCenter is next.